In the realm of reincarnation, Ning Chuan, the esteemed heir of the northern general from the Ning family, found himself in a precarious predicament. The female emperor, in a brazen act, extracted his supreme bone and rendered his entire family powerless, banishing them to the southern wilderness. Faced with life-threatening peril and teetering on the brink of despair, he awakened a divine synthesis system, complete with the ability to sign in and gain rewards. "Dear brother, bestow upon me your supreme bone," he implored. "Rest assured, with your supreme bone in my possession, I shall ascend to the imperial throne, and at that moment, we shall unite in marriage, ruling the world together." The emperor, however, scoffed at his aspirations, declaring, "I am resolute in my ambition to become the eternal female sovereign. How could I deign to marry a mere wastrel and share governance?" She proceeded to strip the Ning family of their powers and exile them to the southern territories, granting them a sliver of survival, lest the world condemn her for lacking compassion. The laughter and derision echoed in Ning Chuan's mind. He was blissfully unaware of his own inadequacies, still dreaming of marrying the Empress and jointly ruling the realm. The Empress, possessing the supreme bone along with the Phoenix blood royal body, held the potential to transcend even the supreme realm, commanding an army of over 1,000,000 mercenaries. How could a discarded soul ever be worthy of her? Indeed, Ning Chuan had no hope of attaining the unattainable. His audacity in courting the Empress was laughable. Though once a prodigious talent, whose birth heralded celestial phenomena, he had now been relegated to the status of a castaway, unfit to return to the sanctified capital. As he grappled with this tumultuous revelation, the sound of galloping hooves broke through his thoughts. Had he truly been reborn? Scanning his surroundings, a cloud of confusion washed over him. He had been embroiled in a fierce struggle against a rising faction known as the Qing Gang on Blue Star. How had he ended up here? Seated in an ancient horse-drawn carriage? Gradually, the memories coalesced within his mind. A childhood friend, a prodigy stripped of his supreme bone, a broken engagement, and a family rendered powerless, all culminating in their impending exile. He was nothing short of a hopeless romantic, a fool in love. A wry smile crept across Ning Chuan's handsome visage, tinged with a sense of resignation. He had initially believed himself to be the recipient of a fortuitous beginning. Yet this reality felt far more disheartening. Yes, he had transcended into a fantastical realm where the strong soared through the skies and caused mountains to crumble with a mere gesture, while the weak were left bereft of choices. The Great Li Dynasty, a formidable empire with a legacy spanning over 5 millennia and encompassing vast territories, loomed large. He had inhabited the body of Ning Chuan, the renowned genius of the Ning family, now branded as an unparalleled waste. The tale of his origin began with his birth within this illustrious lineage, where he was heralded as the first prodigy of the Great Li Dynasty. Endowed with the supreme bone, destined to become a superlative force in the supreme realm, barring any unforeseen calamities. At the same time, the late emperor of the Li Dynasty welcomed a daughter, blessed with the wind-blood royal physique. Although she lacked the innate supreme bone, she was undeniably a paragon of beauty and talent, named Liu Ruyan. Furthermore, the head of the Ning family, Ning Tianhe, served as the general of the northern defense for the Li Dynasty. Thus, these two extraordinary prodigies were betrothed in childhood. As time passed, they grew up together, becoming childhood friends until the age of 18. Due to her innate supreme bone, the original body always possessed a slightly higher cultivation than Liu Ruyan. One fateful day, the late emperor fell gravely ill and announced the commencement of a struggle for succession to establish the crown prince. Liu Ruyan, still young and with a cultivation inferior to her royal brothers, desperately pleaded with her childhood companion, Ning Chuan, to relinquish his supreme bone for her benefit. They forged a pact that upon her ascension to the throne, they would jointly govern the realm. Ning Chuan acquiesced. However, after Liu Ruyan ascended as empress, her demeanor towards Ning Chuan underwent a dramatic transformation. During a banquet she hosted, he was ensnared into a scheme that led to him disrespecting her younger sister, Lu Qingxue. This incident was then used as a pretext to strip Ning Chuan of his limited cultivation and to decree the eradication of all Ning family members' powers, banishing them to the southern frontier while depriving the northern general of his military authority. Those who had grievances against the Ning family within the imperial capital reveled in ridicule, and even the cultivators of the entire Li dynasty joined in the derision of the once celebrated genius. Now, as he journeyed towards the southern frontier, the original body succumbed to indignation just as he arrived. A sycophant, left with nothing in the end. Yet, rest assured, I shall reclaim all that we have lost. Ning Chuan sighed helplessly, his gaze drifting towards the window, where a flicker of determination shone deep within his eyes. The scenery outside rushed by, and he could sense the original body's obsession, a desire for vengeance, to reclaim all that had been lost. He was now Ning Chuan, And Ning Chuan was him. If he failed to seek retribution, would he not truly become the empty vessel of a sycophant? However, this body was undeniably weak. It was time to devote himself to diligent training, to shatter the constraints of his once great potential, now diminished, evoking a profound discomfort within him. Taking a deep breath, Ning Chuan prepared to recall the techniques stored in his mind and commence his cultivation. Everything he had achieved in his past life was forged through sheer effort. He had never feared starting anew. In his previous life, he yearned for the transcendent power that transcended the mundane on the blue planet. Now, having traversed into this world, he was determined to experience that unfathomable strength. Just as Ning Chuan was about to delve into his recollections of cultivation techniques, a sudden, furious shout erupted from outside, followed by anguished cries. The carriage came to an abrupt halt. Ha ha ha, Ning Tian He, did you truly believe that the Ning family could reach the southern frontier? Do you not realize that the Empress is flawlessly relentless and will not allow a blemish like Ning Chuan to exist? Given your character, you would never surrender Ning Chuan. Therefore, let all of you from the Ning family perish. As the curtain was lifted, dozens of figures clad in black, wielding glinting blades, came into view, mercilessly slashing at the guards of the Ning family. The loyal protectors of the Ning family fell to the ground, lifeless, as rivers of blood flowed. The elderly and young of the Ning clan watched this scene with fury, yet deep despair lingered in their hearts, particularly the head of the Ning family, whose authoritative visage now bore a trace of hopelessness. The 10 Earth Realm cultivators and 3 Sky Realm cultivators posed an existential threat to the Ning family at this moment. Had his powers not been stripped away, these assailants would have been no match for him. Yet now, with his strength obliterated, were it not for the unwavering loyalty of a few guards, the Ning family would not have even reached this point. Was the Ning family truly on the brink of annihilation? Ning Tianhe let out a mournful howl, his voice steeped in sorrow. How infuriating! Was he destined to meet his end so soon after his arrival? Ning Chuan, witnessing the unfolding calamity, was consumed by a sense of helplessness and rage. Sovereign, grandfather, where are you? If you do not appear now, we shall surely perish. Ning Chuan fervently called for aid, whether from external forces or some hidden power. Without assistance, his frail body would undoubtedly succumb to doom. Beep, life-threatening crisis detected, system binding in progress. Beep, divine synthesis system successfully bound. The divine synthesis system consists of 2 segments. The first segment, synthesis module, slaying foes or completing system tasks grants synthesis points. Amassing sufficient points along with a requisite number of items enables the synthesis of advanced goods. Different synthesis levels require varying amounts of synthesis points. The second segment, sign-in module, various locations may trigger sign-ins, yielding a plethora of items. Stop. Is there no beginner's gift to help me navigate this perilous situation? Ning Chuan interrupted the system's explanation in his mind. Time was of the essence. He could attend to these functions later. Understood. Given the host's life-threatening predicament, the explanation will be skipped, and the beginner's gift will be distributed immediately. Chapter 2. Synthesis of Earth Immortals. The mechanical female voice resonated anew within Ning Chuan's mind. Beep. Does the host wish to open the beginner's gift? Open it. Gazing at the fallen guards and the relatives on the brink of slaughter, Ning Chuan's heart raced. Beep. Congratulations. Host has obtained 1,000 synthesis points. Beep. Congratulations. Host has acquired 10 Sky Realm General cards. Upon use, these cards summon generals of the corresponding level. Beep. Congratulations. Host has received the Mixed Origin Purple Chi Technique, Imperial. Beep. All rewards have been issued to the system space, available for manifestation at any time. As the pleasant mechanical voice concluded, a translucent system panel materialized before Ning Chuan. Host, Ning Chuan. Cultivation, none influence, none synthesis points, 1,000 points system space, 10 Tianyuan Realm General cards, available for synthesis. 1 Hanyuan Purple Chi Scripture Notice. Detection of available synthesis for Earth Immortal Realm General card. Consumption, 1,000 synthesis points, 10 Tianyuan Realm General cards. Incredible. One can even synthesize a formidable being of the Earth Immortal Realm. Upon seeing the notification on the system panel, an overwhelming joy washed over Ning Chuan's face. The Earth Immortal Realm. Its battle power nearly stands at the pinnacle of the Great Li dynasty. It resembled the strength of his father before he was ambushed and incapacitated. A true powerhouse of the Earth Immortal Realm. System, proceed with the synthesis. I wish to make them understand why the flowers bloom so red. Ning Chuan exclaimed fervently. Ding, congratulations to the host for consuming 1,000 synthesis points and 10 Tianyuan Realm General cards. Successfully synthesizing an Earth Immortal Realm General card. Can be summoned at any time, and sufficient Earth Immortal General cards can be accumulated for a second synthesis. Summon. Without a moment's hesitation, Ning Chuan commanded. Ding. Congratulations to the host for using an Earth Immortal Realm General card, successfully summoning the ancient evil. Dian Wei, as the system's voice faded. A tremendous pressure of the Earth Immortal enveloped the area. A towering figure emerged from the crowd, breaking through the Wei family's defenses and advancing towards the masses and the carriage behind. Clad in black battle armor and wielding two blood-red double halberds, the figure exuded an overwhelming aura of ferocity, shaking the ground with each step, resembling a fearsome beast. An Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse. It seems they have come to eliminate the worthless Ning Chuan. Ha ha ha. Ning Chuan is indeed fortunate to have an Earth Immortal personally take action. The leading middle-aged man from the Tianyuan realm, named Wei Feng, initially stood in shock at this scene, before bursting into laughter. He was an elder from the three ancient families of the imperial capital, sent by the family head to obliterate the Ning family, with the primary objective of eliminating the blemish of the Empress, Ning Chuan, before any action could be taken. The appearance of an Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse had already been provoked. Indeed, Ning Chuan's existence was intolerable to the people of the Great Li dynasty. Seeing this, Ning Tianhe, overwhelmed by grief, stepped forward to confront the imposing figure, his crimson eyes fixated on the advancing giant, declaring, "If you wish to kill my son, you must first step over my corpse." Ning Tianhe's voice was hoarse, yet filled with unwavering resolve. He understood that with his current cultivation, he could not possibly withstand the might of the adversary. Yet, he could not bear to witness Ning Chuan perish before him. Although he harbored deep resentment towards this rebellious son and often wished to strike him down, he could not allow others to take his life. Ha ha. Even at the brink of death, you still play the affectionate father-son act? Wei Feng laughed once more. Sooner or later, you shall all perish. Wei Feng and the members of the Wei family watched the unfolding drama with a sense of morbid fascination, fixated on Ning Tianhe. Anticipation swelled for the impending demise of Ning Tianhe and the entire Ning family. For years, the Wei family had endured oppression from the Ning Clan, but today, retribution would finally be served, a thought that filled one with elation. Moreover, the arrival of a formidable being from the land Immortal Realm ensured that they would be beyond reproach. Regardless of which faction had dispatched this entity, the objective remained the same, to eradicate the Ning family, after which they could return to claim their reward. As the members of the Wei family awaited the bloody spectacle with eager anticipation, a towering figure clad in black armor suddenly knelt before the carriage. This humble soldier, Dian Wei, pays homage to the master. My lord, I have observed that some nefarious individuals intend to harm you. Shall I cleanse this filth for you? Upon utterance of these words, a profound silence enveloped the gathering. The likes of Wei Feng could scarcely believe their eyes. An adept from the land Immortal Realm, kneeling before that so-called waste. Are you mistaken, friend? Inside that carriage resides Ning Chuan, the greatest failure of the Dali dynasty. How can you address him as your master? Wei Feng exclaimed incredulously. How could a mere failure command a subordinate from the land Immortal Realm? Such cultivators are the pinnacle of power within the Dali dynasty, capable of standing against 10,000 foes. They are either the heads of esteemed families, leaders of great sects, or sovereign lords and generals. It is inconceivable for them to serve under a failure. As Wei Feng spoke, he halted abruptly. The curtain of the carriage slowly lifted, revealing Ning Chuan stepping down amidst the gaze of all present. Although he appeared unchanged, to the members of the Wei family and onlookers alike, he seemed transformed. Standing there, devoid of cultivation, he emanated the aura of an unyielding sword, a razor-sharp blade. Ning Chuan's gaze fell upon the kneeling figure of Dian Wei, and he gently uttered a single word, yes. Dian Wei abruptly rose, unleashing the overwhelming aura of the land Immortal Realm without restraint. How dare you, wretched ones, call my master a failure? You seek death. In an instant, Dian Wei vanished from sight, only to reappear before Wei Feng moments later. And no, we are of the Wei family. The head of the Wei family is Wei Wuya, the great general of the East. You cannot kill us. Wei Feng shrieked in terror as he sensed the boundless murderous intent emanating from Dian Wei. He could hardly fathom that this mighty being from the land Immortal Realm was truly prepared to follow the orders of the so-called waste, intent on their annihilation. Even if you are a celestial deity, I shall still cleave you down, Dian Wei remarked coldly, the blood-red twin halberds poised at Wei Feng's neck. With a swift motion, a massive head toppled to the ground, crimson blood spraying forth and staining the surrounding cultivators in a vivid scarlet hue. The remaining members of the Wei family, intent on fleeing, found themselves paralyzed by fear, unable to do anything but watch as Dian Wei severed their heads one by one. The echoes of their terrified screams reverberated throughout the expanse. The slaughter continued unabated, while Ning Tianhe and the members of the Ning family stood wide-eyed and agape, incredulously witnessing the scene before them. A formidable being of the Earth Immortal Realm, submissively following Ning Chuan's every command. How could this be? Ning Chuan, what is this? Ning Tianhe approached Ning Chuan, his voice trembling slightly. During my travels, I befriended the world's heroes. Now, they serve me, Ning Chuan replied, feigning calm as he observed the carnage in the distance, though his heart raced with exhilaration. Truly, Dian Wei is the embodiment of ancient ferocity. Witnessing his prowess in battle is utterly exhilarating. Chapter 3. The Supreme Bone is gone. The Celestial Bone arrives. For my use. Ning Tianhe and the rest of the Ning family fell into a state of shock once more, particularly Ning Tianhe, who felt turmoil surging within him. Has my son, all these years, merely been a sycophant? The presence of an Earth Immortal powerhouse at his son's beck and call implied extraordinary capabilities beyond comprehension. As the crowd stood in awe, Dian Wei returned to Ning Chuan, carrying dozens of severed heads. My lord, I have collected the heads of all these vile individuals. Please, direct me. Dian Wei knelt respectfully, awaiting orders. Upon hearing this, Ning Chuan's gaze fell once more upon Dian Wei. Before he could speak, information about Dian Wei appeared before him. Name: Dian Wei cultivation. 3-star Earth Immortal weapon. Blood weapon dual halberds physique. Brutal body. Activating. Kill count. 1410. 000. This meant that upon slaying 10,000 foes, his physique would be fully activated? Ning Chuan was momentarily taken aback, realizing that he had not anticipated Dian Wei possessing a unique physique. Those with such attributes often held boundless potential for the future. Much like Liu Ruyan's Phoenix Blood Royal body, which guaranteed ascendance to the realm of kings as long as she did not perish. His former Supreme Bone had also been a form of physique, albeit significantly more potent than ordinary special physiques. Alas, the original owner had given it to Liu Ruyan. Contemplating this, Ning Chuan felt a headache coming on. Shaking his father, do not linger. Gather someone to collect their belongings. Let us continue our journey towards the southern frontier, Ning Chuan softly urged as he glanced at Ning Tianhe, who appeared lost in thought. The Ning family had been stripped of their cultivation and all precious resources, as well as wealth, seized. Their party was left with little more than meager provisions for survival. The 10 or so individuals they faced were elite descendants of the Wei family, including an elder at the celestial origin realm. The items within their storage rings undoubtedly possessed significant value and could address the Ning family's pressing needs. Very well, Ning Tianhe responded. Somewhat dazed by his son's directive and the recent turmoil, he hastily called upon others to begin searching the bodies. The injured guards also took the opportunity to tend to their wounds, as preserving their lives remained paramount. In no time, everyone became engrossed in their tasks. Ning Chuan turned and seated himself upon the cart, resuming his study of the system. He yearned to turn the tide and make Lian pay a price. It was imperative to comprehend the system thoroughly. After a while, he gained a foundational understanding of its functionalities. The system space was designated for storing rewards, while the synthesis module allowed for the consumption of synthesis points to create higher-tier items from identical materials. As for the signing-in feature, he had yet to utilize it and remained uncertain of what treasures it encompassed. Just as Ning Chuan contemplated this, a familiar mechanical female voice echoed in his mind once more. Ding. Detection indicates the host has slain a celestial origin cultivator and over 10 earth origin cultivators. The host receives a reward of 2,000 synthesis points. Ding. The host is currently at the periphery of the fallen Immortal mountain range. Would you like to sign in? What? A reward of 2,000 synthesis points and the opportunity to sign in? A look of astonishment graced Ning Chuan's face at the voice resonating in his mind. Synthesis points were indeed a remarkable asset. With them, he could endlessly synthesize higher-tier items. For instance, 10 fifth-grade elixirs could be synthesized, although he had yet to ascertain the highest tier achievable. However, that was a matter for future experimentation. The immediate priority was to explore the treasures that signing in might yield. Signing in, Ning Chuan thought to himself. Ding. Congratulations, host, for successfully signing in at the fallen Immortal mountain range. You have received one piece of celestial bone. What? Celestial bone? Ning Chuan's eyes widened in disbelief. Hardly able to trust his ears. Though he was unfamiliar with the nature of celestial bone, he understood that celestial implied it was extraordinary. Unable to contain his excitement, he gazed towards the system space, where the description of the celestial bone appeared before him. The celestial bone. A single piece of celestial bone is worth countless invincible paths. This bone possesses the remarkable ability to autonomously absorb spiritual energy for cultivation and harbors a divine power known as the Hand of the Celestial. Once initially cultivated, its martial techniques and spells can unleash double the potency. Additionally, other functions await discovery by its possessor. Wow, the celestial bone can cultivate on its own, and it grants double the power? This is simply astonishing, Ning Chuan exclaimed. In comparison to the celestial bone before him, The Supreme Bone seemed utterly insignificant. The heartache of losing the Supreme Bone instantly diminished. Of course, Ning Chuan would not forget the ruthless and merciless nature of Liu Ruyan. The celestial bone materialized with a chime. Ding, materialization complete. Suddenly, a glimmering white light radiated from the scar on Ning Chuan's right arm, and in an instant, the scar vanished completely. A tingling sensation followed, lasting for 3 seconds, before a warm current flowed from his right hand, spreading throughout his body, where the warmth traveled. Both damaged meridians and internal injuries were restored. It even refined his blood, bones, and cells. Ning Chuan felt an overwhelming urge to moan in comfort, yet he restrained himself, deeming the sound too distasteful. Soon, the flush on his face faded as he slowly opened his eyes, gazing at his right arm with a radiant smile. Truly, the celestial bone, the moment it entered my body, it healed my injuries and meridians completely. It has allowed me to return to the blood mobilization realm. Though this realm is merely the first stage of cultivation for Ning Chuan, who had once been rendered useless. Regaining the blood mobilization cultivation signifies that he would no longer be a mere waste. Instead, he would emerge as an extraordinary talent endowed with the celestial bone. Chapter 4. Targeting the southern region. After sensing the transformations within his body, Ning Chuan gradually opened his eyes. It was not yet the time to cultivate the primordial purple chi technique. The formidable Tai Wei, a 3-star Earth Immortal, though powerful, would still be inadequate against the colossal Dali dynasty. The best course of action now was to continue towards the southern region. There he could bide his time. And when he amassed formidable strength, he would return to crush the entire Dali dynasty. With the celestial bone now in his possession, he firmly believed that this ambition would soon be realized. Ning Chuan, I have gathered over a dozen storage rings for you. Here they are. But, have you recovered from your injuries? Ning Tianhe approached Ning Chuan, holding a handful of storage rings. Upon sensing the overwhelming aura exuding from Ning Chuan's body, he was momentarily stunned. He recalled that after Ning Chuan unearthed the Supreme Bone, his cultivation had plummeted from the heavenly origin realm to the 1-star Earth origin realm. Later, within the Imperial Palace, the Empress had stripped him of his cultivation, leaving him severely injured. He had appeared somewhat feeble moments ago. Yet now his aura had transformed into something so formidable. This left Ning Tianhe utterly astonished. Could it be that Chuaner still has a hidden ace? Indeed. I have now regained my prowess in the blood transfusion realm. These storage rings are in my possession. We should depart from this place at once, for it is perilous here. Ning Chuan stored the rings away, refraining from delving further into the matter with Ning Tianhe. It is best that no one else is aware of the system. Ning Tianhe nodded in agreement, promptly arranging for everyone to board the carriage. Dian Wei, accompanied by several injured guards, galloped ahead. Behind them followed 4 carriages of the Ning family. Seated within the carriage, Ning Chuan gazed at the swiftly passing scenery, once again lost in contemplation. Their current location was approximately 100,000 miles from the imperial capital of the Great Li. While 100,000 miles may seem distant, to a practitioner of the Tianyuan realm, it might be traversed in 10 days. For those at the Land Immortal realm, it could be crossed in just a day. Moreover, the entire Great Li is under the influence of Liu Ruyan. Should news of the Ning family's survival reach the imperial capital, the Empress, along with the Wei family and many others, would surely not let the matter rest. Thus, as long as they remained outside the southern wilderness for even a day, they would face immense peril. Only once they reached the vast, barren, and desolate region of the southern wilderness would the dangers diminish somewhat. Due to its extreme poverty, the Great Li dynasty has not paid much attention to the southern wilderness, nor does it exert as much control there as in other regions. Therefore, until they possess sufficient strength, heading to the southern wilderness appears to be their best option. Their objective is set on the southern wilderness, a journey still exceeding 500,000 miles. At their current pace, it may take until the new year to arrive. They must devise a way to simultaneously enhance their strength and expedite their travel. Listening to the rhythmic clattering of hooves on the ground, Ning Chuan murmured softly. He understood that to alter their circumstances, they must see how effective the system would be. After contemplating for a while, he instructed Dian Wei to continue guiding the 4 carriages of the Ning family southward. With Dian Wei, a 3-star Land Immortal, their safety along the way was largely assured, unless Liu Ruyan dispatched even more formidable adversaries. Having completed these arrangements, Ning Chuan turned his attention to the storage ring in his hand. Within it, there must be a plethora of resources and treasures that the Ning family could utilize. Casually opening one of the rings, Ning Chuan discovered thousands of medium-grade spirit stones, 2 vials of elixirs, 2 spiritual weapons, and a variety of miscellaneous items. This storage ring likely belonged to a member of the Wei family from the Tianyuan realm. The 2 weapons were both low-grade spiritual weapons, each valued at several thousand medium-grade spirit stones. These 2 vials of elixirs. One contains healing pills of the 6th grade, while the other holds spirit-nurturing pills of the same grade, totaling 20. Indeed, the Wei family is quite affluent. These healing pills will aid my father and sisters, alleviating their frailty. Ning Chuan murmured softly, poised to distribute the healing elixirs when a notification appeared before him. Ding. The quantity of 6th grade healing elixirs has reached 10, allowing for the synthesis of a 7th grade muscle rejuvenation pill. Would you like to proceed with the synthesis? Requires a synthesis point of 100. Ding. The quantity of 6th grade spirit nourishing pills has reached 10, allowing for the synthesis of a 7th grade spirit enhancement pill. Would you like to proceed with the synthesis? Requires a synthesis point of 100. The synthesis of a 7th grade muscle rejuvenation pill. A glimmer of delight flickered in Ning Chuan's eyes. He was well aware of the significance of the muscle rejuvenation pill. Although it was classified as a 7th grade elixir, its value was undoubtedly superior to many 8th grade elixirs, even surpassing them. This was due to its extraordinary ability to restore practitioners whose cultivation had been rendered void and whose meridians had shattered, enabling them to embark upon the path of cultivation anew. The 7th grade muscle rejuvenation pill had appeared no more than 10 times throughout the vast Ali Empire, each instance inciting a storm of chaos and bloodshed. In such a grand empire, which prominent family had not suffered the loss of a genius or disciple due to various misfortunes? I shall present this muscle rejuvenation pill to my father, allowing him to reclaim his path of cultivation, Ning Chuan resolved, and with that thought, he clicked to synthesize. Ding. Congratulations to the host for consuming 10 6th grade healing elixirs and 100 synthesis points, thus obtaining 1 7th grade muscle rejuvenation pill. Upon observing the system notification, Ning Chuan's gaze shifted to the system shop, where he discovered the 7th grade muscle rejuvenation pill resting quietly. With this revelation, it would not be long before the members of the Ning family could once again tread the path of cultivation. Subsequently, Ning Chuan clicked to synthesize once more. A 7th grade spirit enhancement pill materialized in his hand, exuding a rich fragrance and appearing perfectly round and plump. Moreover, the pill bore 9 intricate pill patterns, signifying that it had reached the pinnacle of excellence. A spirit enhancement pill adorned with 9 patterns was worth as much as any 8th grade elixir. Ning Chuan could even feel the vast medicinal power contained within the pill. I wonder if I consume this spirit enhancement pill, to what heights will my cultivation ascend? Ning Chuan murmured, then tilted his head back and swallowed it whole. Instantly, the first level of the mixed yuan purple qi art unveiled itself in his mind. Boom, boom, boom. The medicinal power of the spirit enhancement pill was fervently being refined the moment it entered Ning Chuan's abdomen. Most of the refinement was facilitated by the Immortal Bone, while a smaller portion was managed by Ning Chuan, who was still learning to operate this technique. In mere moments, a resounding boom echoed as Ning Chuan's cultivation experienced yet another breakthrough, reaching the qi refining realm. Upon attaining the qi refining realm, his cultivation did not cease its meteoric rise. 1-star qi refiner, 5-star qi refiner, 9-star qi refiner, breaking through the shackles of qi refiners and arriving at the spirit transformation realm. Chapter 5. 200,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Following his breakthrough into the spirit transformation realm, Ning Chuan's cultivation continued its relentless ascent. He was still absorbing the effects of the spirit enhancement pill, refining the surging medicinal power within him. His cultivation surged ever higher, as the Immortal Bone acted like an immense furnace, continuously refining that potent medicinal energy into Ning Chuan's own strength. Thus, this persisted for nearly 4 hours. The night had already enveloped the earth when Ning Chuan's surging aura finally subsided. He had ascended to the 9th-star transformation realm during this period, an exhilarating achievement. As he felt the tumultuous power within him, a look of astonishment graced his face. He had never anticipated that the celestial bone could not only cultivate autonomously, but also refine medicinal power on its own, and at a pace surpassing his own efforts. In comparison, the supreme bone seemed rather insignificant. Moreover, Ning Chuan sensed that his current 9th-star transcendence was significantly more powerful than the first time he achieved this realm. Part of this was due to the advanced techniques he employed, resulting in purer and more abundant spiritual energy within him. Another contributing factor was undoubtedly the celestial bone. This instilled in him the confidence that even innate realm cultivators would not pose a threat to him. He pondered the possibility of testing this theory. Ning Chuan murmured to himself before lifting the curtain and gazing out the window. At the edge of the night, a brilliantly lit city came into view. With the synthesis system at his disposal, it was time to procure some supplies there. Dian Wei, let us rest for the night in that city ahead. We shall set off again tomorrow. After traveling thousands of miles in just 4 hours, their weary horses had reached their limits. As you wish, Dian Wei respectfully replied, heading directly toward the city. Upon arriving at the city gates, they paid a mere handful of low-grade spirit stones to gain entry. This city was Baogun City, a prominent location within the Great Li dynasty, renowned for its breeding of warhorses. Once inside, Ning Chuan and his companions casually found an inn to settle in. Baogun City was still ablaze with lights and bustling with activity. In this world, nearly everyone possessed some level of cultivation and extraordinary strength, eliminating the need for curfews in the cities of the Great Li dynasty. Exhausted cultivators were relishing this fleeting moment of joy. "Father, come here for a moment." After successfully checking into the inn, Ning Chuan called Ning Tianhe into their room. "Father, this is a 7th grade muscle refining pill. It should aid in your recovery. Within this storage ring, there are also some cultivation resources. Take them and begin your practice. Rest assured, Father, our Ning family has endured this great tribulation, and I have fully awakened. Trust me, I will lead our family back to the imperial capital and exact vengeance on those who have wronged us." Ning Chuan handed the pill and storage ring to Ning Tianhe, speaking slowly. "Chuan Yu." Ning Tianhe's eyes widened as he gazed at the plump muscle refining pill in disbelief. Such a treasure. It had only appeared once at the royal city's auction. Worth a fortune. "Father, trust me, there is no need for questions. Just follow my lead." Ning Chuan spoke with a calm demeanor, yet his tone radiated unwavering determination and confidence. All right, Ning Tianhe replied, tears streaming down his face. He had thought he would never witness this day. To his astonishment, his son was even more enigmatic than he had anticipated. "I shall also seize the time to restore my cultivation." A flicker of immense fighting spirit ignited in Ning Tianhe's eyes as he turned to depart. Once Ning Tianhe left, Ning Chuan stepped out of the room, with Dian Wei promptly following at his side. The two exited the tavern and made their way towards the bustling streets. Casually, they sought out a trading house. "What is the price of a 5th grade gathering spirit pill?" Ning Chuan inquired of the enthusiastic female attendant. "A 5th grade gathering spirit pill costs 10 mid-grade spirit stones each." The attendant cheerfully informed him, recognizing that this gentleman appeared to be a significant client, given the fierce guards accompanying him. "I'll take 100, Ning Chuan said, tossing her a storage ring containing exactly 1,000 mid-grade spirit stones. "Our esteemed sir, please wait a moment. I will fetch them for you right away," the attendant exclaimed. Elated, she swiftly returned with 100 gathering spirit pills. With the pills in hand, Ning Chuan and Dian Wei turned to leave. They sought out a secluded corner, where Ning Chuan's gaze fell upon a newly appeared prompt before him. "Ding, the quantity of 5th grade gathering spirit pills has reached 100. You may synthesize them into a 7th grade spirit enhancing pill. Would you like to proceed with the synthesis? This will consume 200 synthesis points." "Synthesize," Ning Chuan thought, a look of astonishment crossing his face as he realized he could synthesize across grades, thus simplifying the process. He had spent 1,000 mid-grade spirit stones to acquire 100 gathering spirit pills, yet he could not have purchased even 10 6th grade spirit nourishing pills. Therefore, he had planned to synthesize 100 gathering spirit pills into spirit nourishing pills, and then combine 10 spirit nourishing pills into the 7th grade spirit enhancing pills. To his surprise, the system facilitated the synthesis across grades seamlessly, saving him an extra step. "Ding, congratulations, host. You have consumed 200 synthesis points and synthesized 100 gathering spirit pills into 1 spirit enhancing pill. Success." With a mere thought, a round, fragrant pill materialized in his hand, adorned with 9 intricate pill patterns. How much might this spirit enhancing pill be worth? A radiant smile lit up Ning Chuan's face as he and Dian Wei ventured back onto the main street, arriving at the most prosperous district of Baogun City. Before them stood a lavish trading house, the Misty Rain Tower, the pinnacle of commerce in the Great Li dynasty, with branches spread throughout the realm. It would undoubtedly be capable of handling his business transaction. Ning Chuan chuckled softly before entering. Once again, a female attendant greeted him. "Summon your supervisor." Shortly after, a captivating and stunning woman approached. Ning Chuan wasted no time and directly presented the pill. "How much can you offer for this 9-pattern spirit-enhancing pill?" Ning Chuan gazed at the enchanting woman, his expression impassive. Nine-pattern spirit-enhancing pill? The woman, who had initially donned a professional smile, suddenly widened her beautiful eyes in astonishment, her mouth agape. A look of horror flickered across her stunning visage. The 9-pattern pill. Even a 6th grade spirit pill holds considerable value, let alone the 7th grade 9-pattern spirit-enhancing pill, which is undoubtedly of exorbitant worth. Such 9-pattern pills are exceedingly rare. The emergence of a 7th grade 9-pattern pill in the Dali Empire would undoubtedly create a significant uproar. "Young master, this pill of yours is of great value. If auctioned, it would fetch an even higher price. Have you considered putting it up for auction?" Guya gently bit her lip and spoke softly. Not considering it, Ning Chuan shook his head. "Name a price, and I shall pay you directly." Auction. He could not afford to wait for an auction. In that case, with my highest authority, I could offer you 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones. This is the utmost I can provide. If you find it unsatisfactory, I could request a reconsideration. Guya spoke with utmost respect, fearing the loss of such a substantial deal. 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Give me 50,000. The remaining 150,000, I shall use to select items from your establishment. Ning Chuan casually tossed the pill to Guya and began his selection. Before long, Ning Chuan and Dian Wei departed from the half-moon pavilion, carrying a storage ring brimming with treasures. A sense of familiarity washed over him, as if he had encountered this feeling before. Guya watched Ning Chuan's departing figure, a hint of puzzlement gracing her enchanting features. However, in the next moment, she caught sight of the statue of the Empress in the city. Instantly, her eyes widened again in surprise. Chapter 6. The powerful Liu Ruyan within the tavern. Ning Chuan sat cross-legged in his room, surrounded by a plethora of items, predominantly pills. At this moment, he could hardly contain his excitement. The synthesis system truly generates wealth at a remarkable pace, far surpassing any other endeavor. Spending 1,000 mid-grade spirit stones to synthesize a 9-pattern spirit-enhancing pill directly yielded 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones in return. It is worth noting that 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones would classify one as a wealthy individual within the Dali Empire. Take, for instance, the Tianyuan realm powerhouse of the Wei family. His storage ring held no more than 5,000 or 6,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Although it is likely that most of it has been converted into cultivation resources, his net worth would not exceed 20,000 mid-grade spirit stones. The Wei family remains one of the 3 ancient clans of Dali, a notably affluent lineage. Thus, it is evident that the value of 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones is extraordinarily high. Of course, Ning Chuan had no particular use for the spirit stones. Utilizing 150,000 mid-grade spirit stones to acquire the pile of pills before him was what truly mattered. 106th grade spirit pills, 106th grade healing pills, 106th grade solidifying spirit pills, along with 100 exceptional treasures. These items should suffice for the needs of many. Ning Chuan murmured softly, a smile curving his lips, as he envisioned the resurgence of the Ning family. The system is remarkably efficient. With this thought in mind, Ning Chuan turned his gaze to the prompt regarding the synthesized items. Ding! The quantity of 6th grade spirit nourishing pills has reached 100, allowing for the synthesis of 10 7th grade spirit enhancing pills. Cost 1,000 synthesis points. Furthermore, it is possible to synthesize an 8th grade divine spirit pill. Cost 10,000 synthesis points. All of the above can be synthesized separately, and the specific choices are left to the host. Several prompts appeared before Ning Chuan, offering him the freedom to synthesize at will. Upon glancing at the final prompt, his expression shifted to a wry smile as he noted the balance of synthesis points. Only 1,600 remained. He had hoped to synthesize all the pills to assist some members of the Ning family in their recovery. However, it now seemed imperative to find a way to acquire more synthesis points. Ning Chuan understood that spiritual stones and medicinal pills were easy to procure. The real issue lay in the insufficiency of synthesis points. Reluctantly, he decided to synthesize a portion for now. After a brief contemplation, he resolved to proceed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for expending 1,000 synthesis points and 100 spirit nourishing pills to synthesize 10 7th grade spirit enhancing pills. Ding! Congratulations to the host for expending 500 synthesis points and 50 healing pills to synthesize 5 7th grade muscle refining pills. With the system's notifications concluded, Ning Chuan found himself with only 100 synthesis points left. Nevertheless, he felt a surge of excitement. After all, with these 5 7th grade muscle refining pills and 10 spirit enhancing pills, 5 individuals from the Ning family would be able to resume their cultivation journeys, and he would possess ample resources for his own training. Advancement in cultivation was paramount. Let the training commence, Ning Chuan murmured, tilting his head in preparation to consume a 7th grade spirit enhancing pill. Suddenly, the sound of another system prompt echoed in his mind. Ding! The host has slain dozens of enemies, earning 3,000 synthesis points as a reward. Did I earn synthesis points from defeating those foes? Ning Chuan's eyes widened, a look of astonishment gracing his features. In his earlier excitement, he had nearly forgotten that slaying enemies could yield synthesis points. 3,000 synthesis points would almost suffice to synthesize the remaining treasures. With this in mind, Ning Chuan wasted no time. He spent 1,000 synthesis points to synthesize another 10 7th grade firming spirit pills, and 500 points to create 5 muscle refining pills. Additionally, he synthesized a mid-grade spirit weapon, a longsword, at the cost of 1,000 synthesis points. In total, he expended 2,500 synthesis points, leaving him with 500. Very good, indeed. This brought him a sense of relief. With a wealth of synthesis points at his disposal, he would be able to create 8th grade pills. A smile spread across Ning Chuan's face. 8th grade pills were considered the pinnacle of alchemical creations within the entire Dali Empire. Even for those of the earthly immortal realm, such treasures were exceedingly rare. After completing these tasks, Ning Chuan opened his mouth and swallowed a spirit-enhancing pill. The overwhelming potency of the medicine surged forth, and his celestial bones began to fervently refine. Ning Chuan's cultivation commenced its ascent. An hour later, he broke through the shackles of the transformation realm, stepping into the first star of the transcendent stage. A 7th grade spirit-enhancing pill has allowed me to break through a minor level? This, Ning Chuan, feeling the void of medicinal energy within him, abruptly opened his eyes, a hint of helplessness flickering in his gaze. The cultivation method he was practicing was of such a high tier that the energy required to break through to the same level was nearly 100 or even 1,000 times greater than that needed by others. This implies that Ning Chuan must expend 100 to 1,000 times the resources compared to cultivators of the same rank. Furthermore, he sensed that the energy he drew from his celestial bones was significantly reduced. However, the advantages were glaringly evident. His combat prowess was formidable, and his potential soared even higher. It could be considered a blessing. As long as he possessed synthesis points, he need not fear a lack of resources in the future. With a smile, Ning Chuan once again swallowed 2 spirit-enhancing pills and resumed his cultivation, his aura steadily rising. Meanwhile, in the luxurious and exquisite palace of the great Li imperial capital, the Empress Liu Ruyan was closing her eyes, absorbing the immense power within her. A faint smile graced her stunningly cold features. The earthly immortal realm, truly marvelous. Since her ascension to the throne, she had received an infusion of power, breaking through from the first star of the heavenly origin realm directly to the 6th star earthly immortal. Historically, when the lifespan of the royal family reached its twilight, they would channel their powers into the great Li imperial seal, allowing future heirs to ascend the throne with the accumulated might, thereby ensuring the royal lineage's everlasting grip on the empire. Liu Ruyan had also received such an infusion, coupled with her supreme bone and the bloodline of the Phoenix King. It seemed that breaking through to the monarch realm and achieving the supreme realm would pose no challenges at all. In time, she would reign as the foremost supreme in the land of Xiling, elevating the great Li to an exceptional dynasty, mere steps away from the holy dynasty. Liu Ruyan slowly opened her enchanting eyes, her ruby lips curling upward, involuntarily revealing her delight. Ning Chuan, you must be dead by now, though my heart aches. Your demise leaves me untainted. As time passes, no one shall know that the supreme bone was derived from you. She gazed at her delicate right arm, murmuring softly. As a flawless empress of the ages, she could not afford any blemishes. Ning Chuan's existence was her stain. Thus, Ning Chuan must perish. General Wei Wuyo seeks an audience. Liu Ruyan looked toward the door, a flicker of curiosity passing through her eyes, then nodded slightly. Enter. Chapter 7. The Snowy Dragon Steed. I, Wei Wuyo, pay my respects to your majesty. A refined middle-aged man approached Liu Ruyan, respectfully kneeling before her and speaking softly. Wei Wuyo, what brings you to me at this late hour? Liu Ruyan rose slowly, her gaze settling on Wei Wuyo, her crimson lips parting slightly. Wei Wuyo was renowned alongside the Northern General Qi, holding the title of Eastern General, with his cultivation reaching the 9-star earthly immortal realm. His strength was formidable indeed. On that day, had it not been for the summoning of the ancestral figure, it would have been impossible to suppress Ning Tianhe, who stands in equal renown to General Zhen Dong, along with the entirety of the Ning Clan. I must report to your majesty that there has arisen a complication regarding the execution of Ning Chuan. All the clansmen I dispatched have been beheaded and displayed upon the trees, creating a scene of utter devastation. I suspect that the Ning family possesses hidden reinforcements. With the assistance of a formidable terrestrial immortal, my clansmen, who are of the 9-star celestial origin realm, would never have met such a tragic fate. Wei Wuyi respectfully reported again. The annihilation of the Ning clan was his desire, as well as a directive from the Empress. Her decision to exile them to the southern borders was also to silence the whispers of the world. Behind the scenes, the members of the Ning family could never hope to survive this journey to the southern territories. Oh, have I underestimated the Ning family? Terrestrial immortals, hidden forces? I shall see what these hidden forces truly entail. Upon hearing this, Liu Ruyan's exquisite visage momentarily displayed a look of astonishment, but it was merely fleeting. She swiftly regained her composure, exuding an air of control. Wei Wuyi, this matter is entrusted to you. I require you to bring me Ning Chuan's head. Should you succeed, the command of the Northern Army shall be entrusted to you. Liu Ruyan's gaze rested upon Wei Wuyi as she spoke softly. Understood. I assure you that within 10 days, I shall secure the head of Ning Chuan. Wei Wuyi's eyes widened in excitement, a thrill coursing through him. With 200,000 troops from the Zhendong army, Combined with another 200,000 from the Zhenbei army, he would command a force of 400,000. Who could possibly rival him? With that, he took his leave. Upon returning to his estate, Wei Wuyi summoned 2 elders of the terrestrial immortal realm, one a 4-star and the other a 3-star. They were the mightiest among the Wei family, aside from himself and a few esteemed elders. Dispatching them would ensure success. Even if the opposing force had terrestrial immortals, he surmised they would be of only 1 or 2 stars. Indeed, had he not gained insights in recent days, he would have ventured forth himself. Yes, I guarantee the task shall be completed within 10 days. The 2 elders of the Wei family responded respectfully. With their speed, they would easily catch up to the Ning family's fleeing carriage. Promptly, the 2 terrestrial immortal elders of the Wei family departed in haste. Upon leaving the imperial capital, they traversed the skies. According to his calculations, the Ning family should currently be within the territory of Qingzhou. Upon arrival in Qingzhou, the imperial guards would assist them in tracking the whereabouts of the Ning clan. With such a conspicuous target as the Ning family, the capabilities of the Dali imperial guards would enable them to locate their quarry in no time. As the sun rose high, its radiant beams bathed the earth in light. It was early March, the season of rebirth, and the entire Dali Empire radiated vigor. With a new emperor ascending the throne, this colossal entity, which had existed for 5 millennia, seemed to have rejuvenated significantly. In the city of Baojun, Ning Chuan slowly opened his eyes, a terrifying aura reverberating throughout the room. Over the course of a night, he had refined 6 spirit-enhancing pills. Yet he had only managed to break through to the 5-star transcendence realm. It appeared that in the future, he would require higher-grade elixirs to expedite his breakthroughs. Despite his words, a smile graced Ning Chuan's face. In a single night, he had ascended 6 minor realms from the 9-star transformation realm to the 5-star transcendence realm, an achievement that even his former self could not have accomplished. Nor could anyone in the Dali dynasty. Ning Chuan felt a deep sense of satisfaction. However, it must be noted that his combat prowess did not align with that of an ordinary transcendence realm warrior. It was time to set forth. Rising to his feet, Ning Chuan summoned all the members of the Ning family and boarded the carriage to continue their journey. Before climbing aboard, he took a moment to observe his father. Ning Tianhe, after a night of refining, the shattered meridians had mended, allowing him to resume his cultivation. Utilizing the resources from the storage ring gifted to him the previous day, he began his recovery. Ning Chuan also entrusted him with 10 muscle-forming pills and 1 spirit-enhancing pill to be distributed among the Ning family members, reserving the spirit-enhancing pill for his own use. This left Ning Tianhe utterly astounded, for as the former king of the north, he understood the significance of such a bounty. Moreover, the spirit-enhancing pill was of the 9-pattern variety. The 11 pills were worth a quarter of the Ning family's previous fortune. Naturally, he refrained from inquiring further, recognizing it as his son's secret. Nevertheless, through this act, Ning Tianhe glimpsed the hope of the Ning family's resurgence. The current carriages were too slow. It was time to procure some fine steeds. Dian Wei rode ahead, leading the way. Ning Chuan, seated in the rear of the carriage, whispered softly. Soon, he intended to lead his entourage to the nearby horse market, where a plethora of superior steeds could be found, including warhorses equivalent to the 9-star transformation realm. Such warhorses could traverse a distance of 10,000 miles in a single day. Presently, with 50,000 medium-grade spirit stones at his disposal, Ning Chuan was well equipped to acquire several exceptional mounts. However, before they had traveled far, a system notification echoed in Ning Chuan's mind. Ding. Host detected in the land of warhorses, Baojun City. Sign-in available. What? Another sign-in opportunity? A smile spread across Ning Chuan's face. The last time he had signed in at the outskirts of the Yushin mountain range, he had received an Immortal Bone. He wondered what treasures awaited him in Baojun City. Sign-in ding. Congratulations, host. Sign-in successful. You have received 10 great snow dragons, 3-star innate realm, capable of traveling 30,000 miles a day. What? Great snow dragons that can travel 30,000 miles a day? At this pace, reaching the southern frontier would take no more than half a month. How fortuitous, system. Ning Chuan exclaimed softly. Although he did not acquire a treasure as magnificent as the Immortal Bone, obtaining 10 great snow dragons in Baojun City was indeed remarkable. In the grand empire of Dali, even the finest warhorses are limited to a mere 1-star innate realm. The constraints of their lineage, combined with the empire's inadequate training capabilities, restrict their steeds to this level. Yet, he possesses 10 3-star innate realm Daxualong steeds, a remarkable boon from the system. Chapter 8. Traversing 30,000 miles a day before Ning Chuan, the system once again presented a synthesis reminder, indicating that it would require 1,000 synthesis points to merge the 10 Daxualong steeds into one 9-star innate Daxualong steed. However, Ning Chuan refrained from synthesizing. Firstly, He had only 500 synthesis points remaining, and secondly, 4 or 5 carts needed to be pulled, rendering a single horse insufficient. Since he had acquired the horses, the need for 50,000 mid-grade spirit stones diminished. He decided to exchange some resources for cultivation elixirs instead. Ning Chuan murmured to himself before instructing a guard to procure some 5th and 6th grade elixirs from the merchant. They continued their journey out of the city. Before long, they exited the city gates, and the guard returned just in time. With the 50,000 mid-grade spirit stones, he had purchased 1,000 5th-grade gathering spirit pills, 56th-grade spirit nurturing pills, and 56th-grade healing pills. Holding the elixirs, Ning Chuan promptly utilized his remaining 500 synthesis points. He successfully synthesized 3 9-pattern spirit enhancement pills and 2 7th-grade muscle refinement pills. Without hesitation, he consumed the 3 9-pattern spirit enhancement pills. Although their effect on his cultivation was not particularly significant at this stage, they nonetheless contributed to his progress. After an hour, he fully refined the 3 pills, resulting in a breakthrough to the 6-star transcendent stage. At this moment, the caravan had traveled quite a distance from Baogun City. Ning Chuan decided to manifest the 10 Daxilong steeds. General Dian Wei, let us pause briefly to switch horses, he announced as he stepped out of the carriage. Dian Wei, leading the group, gradually came to a halt. Dian Wei, a formidable figure in the Earth Immortal realm, could traverse the air with astonishing speed, covering vast distances with ease. However, he needed to safeguard Ning Chuan and the Ning family. Where are the horses, my lord? I do not see any, Dian Wei inquired curiously. Indeed. I was just pondering that I forgot to replace some horses in Baogun City. These ordinary war horses have exhausted their strength and can no longer run swiftly. Ning Tianhe remarked as he approached with a young woman who appeared to be 17 or 18 years old. Brother, I have regained my cultivation, she exclaimed, linking her arm with Ning Chuan's, her stunning visage illuminated by a radiant smile. Her name was Ning Lingxue, Ning Chuan's cousin, with whom he had grown up, and their bond was exceptionally close. She had also suffered a loss of cultivation, but fortunately, the muscle refinement pills had restored her meridians, enabling her to continue her training. She expressed her profound gratitude to Ning Chuan, though she was curious about the source of his abundant muscle refinement pills. Not only she, but several other members of the Ning family had also regained their powers. As long as you have recovered, that is what matters. Ning Chuan felt the softness on his arm, momentarily taken aback before softly speaking. There are no fine horses. I would not suggest changing mounts. A fine steed shall arrive shortly. He turned to glance behind him. Suddenly, the sound of neighing echoed around him. 10 robust white steeds emerged from behind the carriage, approaching swiftly and obediently awaiting Ning Chuan's command. The 3-star innate snow dragon steed thrived in the cold weather, capable of traveling 30,000 miles a day without issue. Thus, their journey to the southern frontier was reduced to just over 10 days. The longer they lingered in the heart of Dali, the greater their peril. Ning Chuan stepped forward to stroke the snow dragon steed, a smile illuminating his face. What? A 3-star innate snow dragon steed? Traveling 30,000 miles a day, this is truly a dream horse. Upon hearing this, Ning Tianhe's face manifested a look of astonishment as he instinctively exclaimed. Having led troops into battle frequently, he understood the significance of such a prized steed. The 10 snow dragon steeds were nearly comparable to the royal-bred blood dragon horses. Well then, father will provide you with some spirit-gathering pills for cultivation on the road. We must acquire self-defense capabilities swiftly. Otherwise, without any cultivation, we could easily fall prey to bandits. Ning Chuan distributed 500 5th-grade spirit-gathering pills to Ning Tianhe. Good. Ning Tianhe did not hesitate. The Ning family members were recovering rapidly and could now cultivate, with their techniques and memories intact, lacking only the resources for training. With sufficient resources, their breakthroughs would come swiftly, as they had all practiced before. All right, let us depart. Once the Ning family's carriage was replaced with the snow dragon steeds, they set off towards the south once more. The 3-star innate snow dragon steeds raced forward like beams of white light, with the carriage behind remaining remarkably stable, devoid of any jostling. Dian Wei, in the lead, served as a colossal shield, providing the Ning family with a sense of security. The Ning family members practiced their cultivation in the carriage. Ahead lay the Wan Beast Mountain Range, the largest mountain range in the entire Dali Empire, teeming with numerous ferocious beasts and considerable danger. To reach the southern frontier, they must traverse a small section of the Wan Beast Mountain Range. However, the danger was not as great as it seemed, for the routes through the mountain range had been constructed by the Dali Empire. The surrounding beasts were routinely cleared out, and the likelihood of encountering danger was minimal. Of course, Ning Chuan felt no apprehension, for with Dian Wei, a 3-star terrestrial immortal, even the fiercest beasts posed little threat. Lacking immediate cultivation resources, Ning Chuan reminisced about the swordsmanship he had practiced previously. The Xianzhongling sword technique was the most proficient martial art of Ning Tianhe, the Grand General of the North, and represented the pinnacle of Ning family's sword techniques. Having reached the 8th grade level, although the original self was somewhat sycophantic, his comprehension was remarkably astute. He had previously cultivated the Xuanzhong spirit sword technique to a minor success, merely a step away from reaching its grand culmination, showcasing formidable prowess. He only needed to recall his training to unleash it. Thus, 10 majestic snow dragons pulled Ning Chuan and his companions directly toward the myriad beasts mountain range. Meanwhile, 2 figures arrived in Baoguan City, seeking out the Jin Yui to investigate the whereabouts of the Ning family. "We have received orders to eliminate every member of the Ning family," stated an elder from the Wei family, a 4-star Earth Immortal, addressing the Jin Yui before him. "Very well, we shall commence our investigation forthwith. Please wait here for a moment. We will soon ascertain their location," responded 2 confident Jin Yui of the Tianyuan realm, accompanied by several dozen from the Diyuan realm. They swiftly departed from the opulent courtyard. "Are they not moving rather swiftly?" Arriving in Baoguan City, yet failing to locate them, Wei Tu remarked, gazing after the Jin Yui's departing figures. "Not to worry. Even if they have not been caught yet, they cannot be far. Once we pursue them, the task can be completed within 10 breaths. There is no need for haste." Another elder from the Wei family replied with a calm smile, exuding confidence. As nightfall descended, the Ning family's caravan had just entered the path carved through the myriad beasts mountain range. Unlike other caravans and cultivators who opted to rest overnight in a nearby town before venturing forth in daylight, given the heightened risk of encountering beasts during the night, Ning Chuan exhibited no fear and chose to proceed without hesitation. The night was eerily silent, with only the sound of hoofbeats resonating upon the broad official road. Occasionally, distant roars of beasts could be heard. Ning Chuan was immersed in comprehending the Xuanzhong spirit sword technique, having become thoroughly familiar with it, and thus he endeavored to ascend further in his understanding, striving for a swift breakthrough to the grand realm to unleash greater power. Just as they had barely entered the myriad beasts mountain range, a rustling sound suddenly reached his ears. "Master, be wary. A multitude of white demonic insects has suddenly appeared on both sides of the road, advancing toward us." Dian Wei's thunderous warning echoed, as the terrifying pressure of an Earth Immortal erupted, rendering many of the white insects unconscious. However, an even greater number of white insects were making their way toward the carriage behind Ning Chuan, which contained several of the Ning family women, including Ning Lingxue. Upon witnessing this, Dian Wei was determined to charge at the white insects. With his Earth Immortal prowess, he could easily annihilate them all. His previous shout had been a warning for everyone in the Ning family to remain inside the carriage, as any that might slip through unnoticed would spell disaster for those without cultivation. Upon stepping out of the carriage, Ning Chuan was immediately greeted by the sight of colossal white spirit ants, each larger than a fist, and at that moment, a notification echoed in his mind, detecting the presence of ancient malevolent insect bloodline within the white spirit ants. The system task is initiated. Synthesize a terrestrial immortal grade thousand-eyed snow ant and receive the reward of the Shattered Star Sword Technique, Holy Level. What? This can actually be synthesized? And there's a reward, a Holy Level Sword Technique? Ning Chuan inhaled sharply, understanding the gravity of the situation. The Holy Level was a realm of legends. It was said that once one achieved holiness, they would be granted a lifespan of 10,000 years along with the terrifying power to upheave the very heavens and earth. A Holy Level Sword Technique would surely be intended for those who had reached such a divine status. In the Dili dynasty, even the 9th rank martial arts were exclusive to the royal family. The notion of a holy level was utterly implausible. With this thought, Ning Chuan turned to General Dian Wei, saying, "If you can incapacitate them, please do so. I still need these white spirit ants." Dian Wei was momentarily taken aback, but quickly adjusted his strategy to focus on stunning the creatures. Ning Chuan joined in, realizing that it didn't require excessive force, just a precise strike to avoid killing them all. With his 6-star innate cultivation, incapacitating the white spirit ants was a trivial task. Before long, the two had cleared all the white spirit ants. With a wave of his hand, Ning Chuan stored them in a beast pet storage pouch, which he had fortuitously acquired from the Wei family. He hadn't expected it to be useful today. In total, there were 11,000 white spirit ants. He wondered if he could successfully synthesize a thousand-eyed snow ant of the terrestrial immortal realm. A radiant smile graced Ning Chuan's face. After all, this was a reward that pertained to a holy level sword technique. How could he not be elated? However, just as Ning Chuan prepared to return to the carriage and continue onward, a thunderous roar reverberated through the air. The towering trees along the road began to topple violently. A massive black savage bear, standing 3 zhang tall, emerged before Ning Chuan and Dian Wei. "Master, retreat and let me handle this," Dian Wei exclaimed. his form transforming into a streak of black light as he brandished twin blood halberds. The oppressive aura of a 3-star terrestrial immortal erupted from him, carrying with it a formidable force as he charged toward the black savage bear. The bear, angered by the loss of its prey, let out a furious roar and lunged at Dian Wei, opening its massive maw wide. "You dare," Dian Wei muttered, leaping into the air. In the next moment, his dual halberds pierced through the bear's colossal head. The sound of a resounding explosion followed as the bear's head burst apart like a watermelon. With a thunderous crash, the headless corpse of the black savage bear collapsed to the ground, marking the fall of a 3-star demon general. Witnessing this spectacle stirred the blood within Ning Chuan. He yearned for the opportunity to test his own strength. Ning Chuan anticipated that the black fiend bear would not be a match for Dian Wei. However, he did not expect to achieve a swift and decisive victory. "My lord, let us together dispose of the carcass of this black fiend bear. Its flesh and blood will greatly benefit your family's recovery of their cultivation," Dian Wei remarked with a grin. "Ha ha ha, I have indulged in the flesh of demon generals before, but this time, it seems I shall relish it thoroughly." With a mid-tier spiritual sword in hand, Ning Chuan approached and began to dissect the massive bear. In no time, the colossal corpse of the black fiend bear vanished, reduced to substantial pieces of flesh, all stored within his spatial ring. To his surprise, he also acquired a demon crystal. This singular 3-star demon crystal alone was worth no less than 300,000 mid-tier spiritual stones, for demon generals were beasts of the earthly, immortal realm, and few could claim the prowess to slay such formidable creatures. Thus, the value of demon crystals remained perpetually high. Beep. Congratulations on slaying a 3-star demon general, earning 30,000 synthesis points. Beep. Detecting the consumption of 10,000 white spirit ants and 30,000 synthesis points. You may synthesize the earthly immortal realm's 1,000-eyed snow ant. Would you like to proceed with the synthesis? As the system's notification echoed in Ning Chuan's mind, a radiant smile graced his face. This task felt almost effortless, as if it were merely a formality. "Synthesize," Ning Chuan declared without hesitation. Beep. Congratulations, host, on successfully synthesizing the ancient species, 1,000-eyed snow ant. Beep. Congratulations, host, for completing the system task. The star-shattering sword technique has been deposited into the system space and is available for retrieval at any time. Beep. Congratulations, host, on completing a system task for the first time. An additional reward of 100 great snow dragon riders has been granted, can be manifested at will. Wow, system. Your generosity compels me to address you as foster father. You have given too much. Ning Chuan inhaled sharply, his astonishment deepening. His gaze then shifted to the beast pet storage bag at his waist, where he discovered a colossal, nearly human-sized white ant quietly awaiting his command. A 1-star earthly immortal 1,000-eyed snow ant. Does this not mean I have gained yet another ally of earthly immortal strength? Ning Chuan whispered, his heart racing with excitement. In just a few short days, he had transformed from a mere useless individual into one possessing such formidable companions. Truly, fortunes can shift in the blink of an eye. Moreover, he had yet to summon the 100 great snow dragon riders. He wondered what powerful beings they might be. However, Ning Chuan chose not to summon them just yet. He decided to wait until he exited the 10,000 Beasts mountain range to summon the 100 great snow dragon riders as his guardians. With that, Ning Chuan prepared to return to the carriage and continue his journey forward. Just then, 2 terrifying pressures from earthly immortals descended, causing the very air to thicken with tension. Ning family, at last, I have found you. The pace was quite swift, yet ultimately, it could not escape our grasp. A resounding voice echoed across the heavens and the earth, followed by 2 figures, exuding an overwhelming might, descending from the void to directly intercept Ning Chuan and Dian Wei. These 2 were none other than the esteemed elders from the Wei family, hastening from Baogun City. At that moment, the 2 elders surveyed Ning Chuan and the expressionless Dian Wei beside him, and a look of astonishment immediately crept upon their faces. Ning Chuan, your cultivation has remarkably returned to the 6-star transcendence realm? They were indeed taken aback, for they distinctly remembered that when the Ning family was exiled to the southern wilderness, there was not a single individual among them who possessed any cultivation. Only a few guards held such prowess. Ning Chuan had been utterly depleted of his abilities, gravely injured and unconscious. Yet now, he had astonishingly resumed his cultivation, and to the 6-star transcendence realm no less, all within a matter of days. Moreover, what was most striking was that beside Ning Chuan stood a 3-star Earth Immortal. Fellow cultivator, are you the contingency left behind by the Ning family? Do you realize that aiding the Ning family would incite the wrath of the entire Dali dynasty? It would be prudent for you to depart today, and my brother and I shall pretend we have not seen you. What say you? The gaze of the 2 Wei family elders shifted to Ning Chuan. You must compel him to cease. Should he take our lives, the Great Li dynasty will dispatch formidable experts to hunt you down. Ultimately, you shall not survive. I assure you, simply pretend you have not seen us. Feel free to venture to the southern wilderness. Go forth as you please. The two elders of the Wei family, seeing each other's indifference, turned their gaze towards Ning Chuan. The robust man before them, whom they referred to as their master, would undoubtedly be capable of restraining the formidable figure before him. If this continued, they would surely be beaten to death. Enough of your nonsense. What peace can you expect? I know not, General Dian Wei exclaimed. Do not heed their words, simply kill them. Ning Chuan harbored no belief in their claims. He was resolute in the conviction that truth lay forever beneath the weight of his fist. With a thunderous shout, Dian Wei merged his dual blades and struck down upon the head of the elder from the Wei family, who was a 3-star earthly immortal. The impact was devastating, and the elder's skull shattered instantly. The headless body plummeted from the air, reduced to a grotesque mass of flesh. You are doomed. Another elder of the Wei family, a 4-star earthly immortal, gasped in horror at the scene. He stumbled backward, producing a token to send a message. Just then, a crackling sound filled the air, and he suddenly saw his own head being gnawed upon mercilessly. In the next moment, the elder succumbed completely to the depths of darkness, his lifeless body falling to the ground. The figure of the thousand-eyed snow ant emerged, its aura surging dramatically. Was it breaking through in its cultivation? Ning Chuan observed the dazed creature hovering in midair, a flicker of realization dawning in his heart. Boom, as Ning Chuan murmured. The thousand-eyed snow ant achieved a breakthrough to become a 2-star earthly immortal. Its size diminished, resembling that of a youthful child. The ant opened its 4 eyes, revealing a glimmer of satisfaction, then transformed into a streak of light, darting to Ning Chuan's side, seemingly awaiting his next command. Shouldn't it have grown larger? Why has it shrunk instead? Ning Chuan mused, gently stroking the ant's frigid head before perplexedly murmuring to himself. He then returned it to the storage pouch for his magical pets. Simultaneously, Dian Wei returned, presenting 2 storage rings to Ning Chuan. These belonged to the 2 old geezers. As earthly immortals, they surely possessed considerable resources, he reported respectfully, his astonishment evident. He had not anticipated that his master possessed such means. Furthermore, the swift, lethal strike was something even he could not achieve against a 4-star earthly immortal. Excellent work, General Dian Wei. Your efforts are commendable. We should not linger here. Just as Ning Chuan intended to depart, a howling wind swept in from behind. In swift succession, dozens of figures encircled Ning Chuan and the Ning family carriage. Where are the 2 esteemed elders from the Wei family? Why have they not arrived before us? The middle-aged man, clad in a flying fish robe, stepped forward to survey the surroundings, a hint of perplexity etched upon his countenance. Yet, he dismissed his concerns. The Ning family was right before them, and should they succeed in capturing them, it would mark a significant accomplishment. The Imperial Guards? Upon witnessing this, Ning Chuan was initially taken aback, soon replaced by a subtle smile. He understood that the moment to act had finally arrived. Ning Chuan, you should surrender at once. After being exiled to the southern borders from the imperial capital and still refusing to behave, now the Empress intends to annihilate your entire clan. Are you pleased with this? The leader of the Imperial Guards, clad in the flying fish robe, unleashed his peak Tianyuan realm power, brandishing his long blade menacingly towards Ning Chuan. A streak of blade energy sliced through the night sky, poised to deliver a lethal blow to Ning Chuan. Suddenly, Dian Wei appeared before the Tianyuan realm guard, forcefully driving that guard's head into his abdomen, causing the blade's light to dissipate. Thereafter, Dian Wei, like a silent mad dog, commenced a frenzied slaughter of the Imperial Guards. Ning Chuan watched in alarm. General Dian Wei, please leave some for me. Yet, before he could finish his plea, the anguished cries had vanished entirely. The last peak Dian realm guard fell, his head severed by Dian Wei's strike. My lord, why did you not inform me sooner? Dian Wei exclaimed, slightly embarrassed as he scratched his head, realizing his pace had been somewhat too swift to halt his onslaught. It's all right, General Dian Wei, next time. Do leave a few for me. Ning Chuan waved his hand dismissively. Let us tidy up the battlefield. We shall reap significant rewards this time. As thoughts of the impending synthesis points and the treasures within the storage rings filled his mind, a smile involuntarily returned to his face. Chapter 11. The pinnacle of innate talent. Once the battlefield was cleared, Ning Chuan and his companions swiftly took to their carriage, heading towards the distant horizon. Dian Wei continued to forge ahead, clearing the way. Several carriages raced behind them, and those within the Ning family carriage sighed in relief, particularly Ning Tianha, who had clearly heard the approach of the 2 elders from the Wei family and numerous Imperial Guards. However, they had all been vanquished. The crisis had been averted. It appears I must hasten my cultivation, Ning Tianha murmured, immediately entering a meditative state. As the head of the Ning family, he could not allow his son to bear all the burdens alone. He too needed to share some of the pressure. Inside the first carriage, Ning Chuan's eyes sparkled with brilliance as the system notifications echoed continuously in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for slaying a 3-star terrestrial immortal, earning 30,000 synthesis points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for vanquishing a 4-star terrestrial immortal, acquiring 35,000 synthesis points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for slaying. The continuous notifications resonated, prompting Ning Chuan to glance at his system panel. Host, Ning Chuan. Cultivation level, 6-star transcendence. Talent, Celestial Bone. Influence, none. Synthesis points, 70,000. System space, 100 Great Snow Dragon Riders. 70,000 synthesis points. A sharp intake of breath escaped Ning Chuan's lips, a radiant smile illuminating his face. 8 great elixirs are among the most prestigious in the entire Dali dynasty. Moreover, the elixirs synthesized by the system are all of the 9-pattern variety, their efficacy far surpassing that of ordinary 8 great elixirs. This means an opportunity to elevate his cultivation. Contemplating this, Ning Chuan turned his attention to the storage rings in his possession. Upon careful inspection, he discovered that the quantity of 6-grade spirit-nourishing elixirs had reached an impressive 500. The 7-grade healing elixirs numbered over 10. There were 106-grade healing elixirs and approximately 27-grade spirit-fortifying elixirs. The remainder consisted of various miscellaneous elixirs. Additionally, he possessed dozens of exquisite weapons, 5 inferior spiritual weapons, 2 mid-grade spiritual weapons, and several martial skills. However, not a single 8-grade elixir could be found. Although he was an elder of the Wei family, had he obtained an 8-grade elixir, he would have consumed it long ago without hesitation. With what he had accumulated, synthesizing would surely yield extraordinary results, Ning Chuan murmured, then turned his gaze to the system prompts and began the synthesis process. Ding! Congratulations to the host for consuming 506-grade spirit-nourishing elixirs and 50,000 synthesis points, resulting in 5 8-grade spirit god elixirs. Ding! Congratulations to the host for consuming 106-grade healing elixirs and 10,000 synthesis points, yielding 10 7-grade muscle restructuring elixirs. Ding! Congratulations to the host for consuming 10 7-grade spirit fortifying elixirs and 10,000 synthesis points, producing 1 8-grade spirit guardian elixir. With a flurry of notifications, Ning Chuan swiftly expended all 70,000 synthesis points, acquiring 5 8-grade spirit god elixirs, 1 8-grade spirit guardian elixir, and 10 muscle restructuring elixirs. With these 10 muscle restructuring elixirs, the members of the Ning family could restore their health and re-enter the path of cultivation. A joyful expression graced Ning Chuan's face, as enabling the recovery of the Ning family was a source of great happiness for him. After all, it was due to the issues stemming from his previous incarnation. Nevertheless, he noticed that no one from the Ning family bore him any resentment. Instead, they united in purpose, their hearts aligned. Subsequently, Ning Chuan proceeded to present the 10 muscle restructuring elixirs to Ning Tianhe for distribution among the family members. He then returned to the carriage. Gazing at one of the 8-grade spirit god elixirs adorned with 9 intricate patterns, he understood that should this elixir make its way into the Dali dynasty, it would undoubtedly incite a storm of bloodshed. The 9-patterned 8-rank spirit god pill had never graced the history of the Great Li dynasty, which spanned 5 millennia. The 8-rank spirit god pill already provided immense assistance to those of terrestrial, immortal cultivation, coupled with the supreme quality denoted by 9 patterns. Its benefits for the formidable beings of the terrestrial immortal realm were beyond imagination. Ning Chuan tilted his head and swallowed the 8-rank spirit god pill. The pure and boundless energy erupted within his body, surging with an intensity that threatened to shatter the meridians within him. The potency of the pill was overwhelming. Being merely at the 6-star transcendence level, he struggled to bear it. Fortunately, with the presence of the Celestial Bone, none of this posed a challenge. Boom, boom, boom. The Celestial Bone worked tirelessly like a colossal machine, fervently assisting Ning Chuan in refining the medicinal energy. His aura began to swell dramatically. In just 2 hours, he reached the pinnacle of transcendence. With a crisp cracking sound resonating through his body, Ning Chuan broke through the innate constraints and ascended to the innate realm. In this innate realm, one could effortlessly shatter stones weighing tens of thousands of pounds and attain the status of a 100-man or 1,000-man leader in the military. Furthermore, he was now capable of battling ferocious beasts at the level of demon soldiers. Demon soldiers were those demonic beasts that had awakened intelligence upon reaching the innate to celestial origin realms, while those below the innate realm were merely referred to as ordinary demonic beasts. However, even after breaking through the innate realm, Ning Chuan's cultivation did not cease. It continued to ascend wildly. striving toward even higher realms. Dian Wei, leading the way ahead, sensed the aura of his master behind him and marveled in silence. His master truly was extraordinary, achieving consecutive breakthroughs without pause. Such talent was indeed terrifying. Soon, a night passed, and the Ning family was nearing the completion of their journey through the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. This path stretched a full 18,000 miles. And even at the speed of the great snow dragon steed, it would take more than a single night. At the 6-star innate level, both the quality and quantity of spiritual power exceeded that of Ning Chuan's peak period at the 6-star celestial origin level. Slowly, he opened his eyes, feeling the vast power coursing through him, radiating 2 beams of brilliance. He was now, without a doubt, more powerful than at the peak of his former self. One could only wonder what level of combat prowess he could achieve. It should not be weak. With the hands of a celestial being, he could unleash double the combat strength. Coupled with the minor mastery of the Xuanzhong spirit sword technique, his combat capability was likely on par with that of a 9-star celestial origin expert, if not greater. Within a short time of possessing the system, his strength had already surpassed his previous peak, which brought Ning Chuan great satisfaction. While various thoughts flickered through his mind, a system notification echoed in his consciousness once more. Ding! Detected that the host has traversed the 10,000 Beasts mountain range and the periphery of Wuhuling. Sign in is now available. Chapter 12. The Commander of the 5 Tigers. Another opportunity to sign in? Ning Chuan cast a sharp glance, and a glimmer of anticipation emerged on his face. The previous sign-ins had proven quite remarkable, even yielding the astonishing item known as the Immortal Bone. He wondered what treasures might await him this time. Beep. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in to receive a random 5 Tiger Generals card. 5 Tiger Generals? Were they not the 5 mighty generals under Liu Bei during the 3 kingdoms? Ning Chuan was momentarily taken aback, and then a smile of delight spread across his face. This was the cue to summon the formidable warriors from the 3 kingdoms. System, please use the 5 Tiger Generals random card, Ning Chuan declared without hesitation. Beep. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining Guan Yu, the foremost of the 5 Tigers, a 5-star Earth Immortal General. 5-star Earth Immortal. Guan Yu. Ning Chuan's eyes widened once more. He had expected Guan Yu's cultivation to be akin to Dian Wei's. Yet he was astonished to find him at the 5-star Earth Immortal realm. Truly, he was the valiant warrior known for his legendary solo rides and daring meetings. I am Guan Yu. I pay my respects to my lord. Just as Ning Chuan pondered this, the carriage came to an abrupt halt, and a resonant voice echoed from outside. Upon lifting the curtain, Ning Chuan beheld the imposing figure of Guan Yu, brandishing the green dragon crescent blade and mounted on a fierce steed. Upon seeing Ning Chuan, Guan Yu dismounted, sheathed his blade, and clasped his fists in salute. There is no need for such formalities, General Guan, Ning Chuan replied with a warm smile, helping him to his feet. Before them appeared Guan Yu's profile. General, Guan Yu cultivation, 5-star Earth Immortal physique, martial saint body, inactive, requires an 8-rank martial spirit pill. Weapon, green dragon crescent blade. Oh. Another with a unique physique, a martial saint body. Its potential for growth could surpass even that of the supreme bone, Ning Chuan thought, his heart racing with excitement. General Dian Wei, General Guan Yu, here are 2 8-rank spirit pills. Their potent effects should greatly aid in your cultivation. You too shall train within my carriage. I will pave the way, and should any issues arise, I will summon you for assistance. Ning Chuan retrieved 2 9-pattern spirit pills from his storage ring and handed them to the 2 generals. Given the advanced nature of his own cultivation method, he sensed that after refining one spirit pill, the effect of the next would be halved, or perhaps even more diminished. Thus, he bestowed one upon each of them to enhance their strength, which, in turn, would augment his own. Please, my lord. It would be best if you remained in the carriage, Guan Yu urged. Not to worry, I have my arrangements. Strive for a swift breakthrough in your cultivation. In the near future, we may face an even more formidable adversary, Ning Chuan responded slowly. Having slain 2 elders from the Wei family and numerous members of the Genie Wei, both the Wei family and Liu Ruyan would undoubtedly seek retribution. Although the 2 generals are formidable, a slight increase in strength would better equip them to navigate the forthcoming challenges. Dian Wei and Guan Yu exchanged a resigned smile before ascending the carriage. Ning Chuan rode upon the majestic snow dragon steed, accompanied by several guards forging a path ahead. Upon mounting the steed, Ning Chuan consumed a spirit pill, which promptly initiated the refining process through his celestial bones. There was no need for him to engage in deliberate cultivation. His prowess would steadily improve as he journeyed forth. This was precisely why he had chosen to have the 2 accompany him in their cultivation. Alongside a solidifying pill and another spirit pill, which also served to enhance one's power, he contemplated consuming them all. With a murmured decision, he swallowed another solidifying pill, prompting his celestial bones to surge with vigor as they began their refining work. Before long, the Ning family traversed the Wan Beast mountain range, heading southward. In the grand capital of the Dali Empire, within the Golden Luang Hall, Wei Wuyo, the commander of the Imperial Guards, and numerous esteemed officials gathered. Liu Ruyan sat upon the throne, her exquisite visage betraying no emotion whatsoever. Her cultivation aura had notably intensified since the previous days, now reaching the realm of a 7-star Earth Immortal, leaving the gathered officials in astonishment. It was noteworthy that the Empress was merely around 20 years of age. At this rate of advancement, she would undoubtedly attain the pinnacle of Earth Immortal within a year and might even breach the King realm before turning 30, rivaling the cultivation of ancient royal clans that had practiced for centuries. Truly, she was the unparalleled prodigy possessing both the Supreme Bone and the Phoenix Blood royal body. Except for General Zhendong and Commander Liu Yang of the Imperial Guards, the rest may withdraw, Liu Ruyan stated, parting her crimson lips softly. Yes, we take our leave, the officials responded. As the grand hall emptied, only 3 figures remained, Wei Wuyo, Liu Yang, and the Dali Empress, Liu Ruyan. Speak, what transpired? Liu Ruyan inquired calmly. Hearing this, Wei Wuyo and Liu Yang exchanged glances, and Wei Wuyo stepped forward with a resigned smile, reporting, Your Majesty. Last night, I dispatched forces to eliminate 2 elders from the Ning family, one at the 3-star and the other at the 4-star Earth Immortal level. Their soul tokens shattered, and they perished. Additionally, over a dozen Imperial Guards from Baojun City also fell. I suspect that the Ning family has higher-level Earth Immortal experts aiding them. Upon hearing this, Liu Ruyan's eyes widened in surprise, realizing the extent of the Ning family's hidden capabilities. Fortunately, we have incapacitated your powers, otherwise, they might have attempted a rebellion. She expressed with a flicker of anger crossing her beautiful face. A mere Ning family, with the incompetent Ning Chuan, had managed to thwart their attempts on multiple occasions. Had I known, I would have eradicated the entire Ning family from the outset. What shall you do now? Liu Ruyan's cold gaze bore into Wei Wuyo as she spoke softly. In response to Your Majesty, investigations reveal that the Ning family is heading southward, he replied. Certainly. One wishes to survive in the southern frontier. The southern region is remote and barren, situated a vast 500,000 miles from the imperial capital, with the court's control over that area being rather tenuous. Coincidentally, I have some acquaintance with the leader of the 10,000 Goose sect in the south. By incurring a certain cost, I can arrange for them to eliminate the Ning family once they arrive in the southern lands. Their methods are far more ruthless than ours. This would also serve to alleviate the Empress's grievances, and you would not incur the ire of the world. What do you think? Wei Wuyi finds himself truly unable to intervene. He has recently experienced a sudden epiphany and may perhaps break through the constraints of the earthly immortals. Reaching the realm of a semi-king, he aspires to become the first general to attain such a status in history, and he does not wish to squander time on this matter. Of course, he still desires the 20,000 troops of the Northern Guard. Well, I too have little time to devote to this issue. The leader of the 10,000 Goose sect has reached the pinnacle of the 8-star earthly immortal, possessing strange abilities. And with over 10,000 disciples at his command, he is more than capable of annihilating the Ning family. You may proceed with the arrangements. Liu Ruyan nodded, no longer wishing to make further arrangements. If the commotion were to reach the cultivation circles of the Dali dynasty, it might be said that the Eternal Empress is excessively unfeeling. Allowing the 10,000 Goose sect to take action seems quite appropriate. Naturally, she harbored no concerns for the Ning family. Each of them was ineffectual, relying on the strength of earthly immortals merely to survive. The notion of a comeback or revenge was utterly preposterous. Such aspirations were simply unattainable. During this period, she must hasten her cultivation. Upon reaching the 9-star earthly immortal realm, she would be able to fully activate her Phoenix Blood royal body. Then, leveraging the power from this activation, she could directly strive for the semi-king realm, shattering the records for the fastest breakthrough in the 10 great dynasties. In these 10 dynasties, semi-kings are typically individuals who have lived for 2 or 3 centuries. Chapter 13. The Abyss of the Broken Sword. Wei Wuyi and Liu Yang took their leave. Liu Ruyan also departed from the Golden Luang Hall, and before returning to her palace, she ventured into a secluded chamber. Qingxue, how are you? Still upset with your sister? Liu Ruyan inquired, gazing at the graceful figure seated on the bed, a faint smile gracing her lips. What brings you here? You are not my sister, nor do you have any relation to me. Please leave my room. Liu Qingxue replied slowly, her beautiful eyes filled with disdain as she looked at Liu Ruyan. It hasn't been long since that incident, yet although that fellow acted inappropriately, it did not reach its finality, did it? It's time to move on. Besides, with your beauty and status, finding an admirable husband in the Dali dynasty would be exceedingly easy. If you struggle, I could introduce someone, Liu Ruyan remarked, appearing oblivious to the disdain in Lu Qingshua's eyes, as she seated herself directly opposite her, a smile playing on her lips. Liu Ruyan, how utterly repulsive you are. I willingly accept the actions that Ning Chuan has taken against me. The repugnance I express is directed towards you. Despite our childhood bond and the striking compatibility we share, he has sacrificed his supreme bone for you, yet you still seek to annihilate him completely. From that day forth, we have severed all ties, becoming even adversaries. Lu Qingxue spoke again, her disdain palpable. That instance of Ning Chuan's frivolity had ensnared both of them in Liu Ruyan's cunning scheme. She had harbored feelings for Ning Chuan, who possessed the supreme bone. However, since childhood, Ning Chuan had grown exceedingly close to Liu Ruyan, both of them blessed with extraordinary talents. As for her, endowed with merely ordinary potential, she was left to confine her affections to the depths of her heart. Yet, unbeknownst to anyone, Liu Ruyan's heart was so merciless that she used Lu Qingxue as bait, ultimately shattering Ning Chuan's last hope. On that day, her heart was irrevocably extinguished, stubborn and unyielding. Then remain here in solitude until you find clarity. I shall release you when the time is right. Hearing Lu Qingxue's words, even Liu Ruyan, with her resilient spirit, could no longer endure. Rising, she turned to leave. Any lingering guilt she felt for her sister vanished entirely. Liu Ruyan, you shall surely face retribution. Ning Chuan, I wonder how you fare now. Lu Qingxue gazed at the sealed door, a shadow of concern gracing her exquisite features. Yet within her heart, a profound sense of helplessness lingered. She was merely an ordinary practitioner of the transformation realm. She must cultivate. Only through enhancing her strength could she harbor a glimmer of hope. Subsequently, Lu Qingxue closed her beautiful eyes and began her pursuit of the innate realm. However, at the very moment her eyelids descended, an enigmatic aura enveloped her. Even Lu Qingxue remained unaware of it. 3 days swiftly passed. During this time, Ning Chuan and his companions traversed nearly 100,000 miles towards the southern wilderness. They still had half the journey ahead. In a clearing, the entire Ning family had finished consuming the flesh of the demon beasts and were in the process of refining it. After finishing the roasted meat, Ning Chuan exhaled a breath of turbid air, feeling the spiritual energy surge violently into his body. A formidable aura emanated from him. With the first star of the Earth origin realm, 3 top-tier 8th-grade pills, and an abundance of blood-bear flesh, my cultivation has finally broken through to the Earth origin realm. Ning Chuan opened his eyes, sensing the vast power within him, and a faint smile graced his face. His combat power likely surpassed the peak of the 9-star celestial origin realm, and he was estimated to be on par with those newly entering the land immortal realm. Congratulations, brother, on your breakthrough. How is it that your cultivation can advance so rapidly? I have only just recovered to the Qi refinement stage. Ning Lingxue appeared before Ning Chuan, her stunning visage reflecting shock. In recent days, she has exerted tremendous effort in her cultivation, making remarkable progress. However, in comparison to Ning Chuan, it remains exceedingly slow. She even pondered the possibility that her elder brother's supreme bone had not been excavated. No matter, in due time, when her cultivation reaches the transformation realm, her elder brother will provide her with some advanced elixirs, facilitating her training significantly. Ning Chuan smiled gently, affectionately ruffling Ning Lingxue's hair as he spoke softly. Currently, the members of the Ning family have just resumed their cultivation and possess relatively low levels of power. The potency of high-tier elixirs is overwhelmingly vast, and it is only when they reach the transformation realm that they can gradually refine these advanced elixirs. All right, I shall hasten to the carriage and refine the beast meat I just consumed. I feel a bit bloated, Ning Lingxue said with a cheerful smile, promptly returning to the carriage. Watching her retreating figure, Ning Chuan's gaze swept over the members of the Ning family busy enjoying roasted meat, a radiant smile gracing his face. Since the Ning family members regained their vitality and embarked anew on their cultivation journey, their spirits have undergone a remarkable transformation. The previous gloom has lifted, replaced by smiles. This sensation was peculiar to Ning Chuan. It was the familial bond often spoken of by others. In his past life, he was without parents or kin, relying solely on his fists and the camaraderie of his brothers to carve out a dominion. In this life, having family brought him an extraordinary warmth. Rest assured, I shall protect every member of the Ning family. No one shall harm you, Ning Chuan murmured, his eyes gleaming with determination. He then turned his attention to Dian Wei and Guan Yu, both of whom were currently stabilizing their cultivation. Over the past few days, they, too, had made breakthroughs. The 9-pattern spirit god pill had significantly aided the cultivation of these 2 formidable generals. Dian Wei had advanced to a 4-star Earth Immortal, while Guan Yu had ascended to a 6-star Earth Immortal. Their combat prowess had multiplied beyond measure. At this rate, upon reaching the southern wilderness, they would nearly dominate the entire region. Ning Chuan felt a profound satisfaction with the current progress. Once they settled in the southern wilderness, the growth of his forces would accelerate even more. Before long, the Ning family's caravan resumed its journey, heading southward. Early the next morning, as Ning Chuan rode his horse, immersed in the cultivation of the profound weight sword technique, a system notification suddenly echoed in his mind. Ding. Detection of the host's slow progress in swordsmanship training. Please proceed to the Broken Sword Abyss to sign in and receive a sword intent seed, which will assist the host in swiftly mastering various sword techniques. Upon hearing the system's prompt, Ning Chuan's eyes widened in astonishment. A sword intent seed? Capable of accelerating my mastery of diverse sword techniques? Chapter 14. Sword Orchid. The Broken Sword Abyss? Ning Chuan was certainly aware of the Broken Sword Abyss, one of the 10 wonders of the Dali dynasty. It is said that there once existed a superlative being, transcending the realm of kings, who passed through the Great Li dynasty. With a mere flick of their sword, they cleaved an unfathomable abyss stretching for miles. The lingering aura of their swordsmanship drew countless sword cultivators from the Great Li dynasty to observe and aspire to glean more potent sword techniques from the remnants. Coincidentally, the Broken Sword Abyss was also an essential route to the southern wilderness, a fortunate occurrence indeed. The system was once again bestowing benefits. Upon hearing this, Ning Chuan's lips curled into a smile. The Broken Sword Abyss was not far from him, merely over 10,000 miles away. He could reach it in half a day's time. The thought of it ignited a sense of impatience within him, especially since his progress in swordsmanship had been rather slow. He was still practicing the Xianzhongling sword technique, and had yet to commence training in the Shattered Star sword technique. He urged his steed onward towards the Broken Sword Abyss. Meanwhile, beside the Broken Sword Abyss, disciples from the 4 major sword sects of the Great Li dynasty were gathered, seeking enlightenment from the aura left behind by the abyss. Among them, dozens of exquisitely beautiful women, exuding a formidable sword intent, stood by the abyss in deep contemplation. These were the exceptional female sword cultivators of the Jade Maiden Sword sect, each possessing remarkable talent in both swordsmanship and cultivation. Their levels varied between the Earth Origin Realm and the Heaven Origin Realm. Jin Lan was among them, the youngest of the group. Having recently joined the Jade Maiden Sword sect, due to her extraordinary talent, she was directly admitted as a true disciple, standing by the Broken Sword Abyss. Her stunning visage was etched with earnest determination. She sought to comprehend something from the sword aura emanating from the abyss, aiming to enhance her own strength. Ideally to grasp a thread of sword intent. Achieving this would elevate her status within the Jade Maiden Sword sect, granting her greater resources, and ultimately, when her cultivation reached fruition, she would surpass that woman and exact her revenge on the elder of the Jade Maiden Sword sect, who had once mercilessly slaughtered her family. Every ounce of her endurance was for the sake of increasing her power and avenging her kin. As time progressed, the golden sunlight of dusk bathed the earth, illuminating the many disciples by the Broken Sword Abyss. Suddenly, an exceptionally sharp aura erupted from Jin Lan, enveloping the surroundings. The numerous sword cultivators beside the abyss immediately opened their eyes, drawn to the source of this formidable presence. Astonishment flooded their expressions. Someone had comprehended the nascent form of sword intent. The realization that such a phenomenon was occurring was almost unfathomable. Disciples from the 4 major sword sects were struck with disbelief. Particularly, the female sword cultivators from the Jade Maiden Sword sect, standing close to Jin Lan, gazed at her with a mix of shock and envy. At the tender age of 20, Jin Lan had already attained the pinnacle of the Earth Origin realm, securing her position among the true disciples. Furthermore, today she had grasped the embryonic form of sword intent, a coveted aspiration of countless true disciples. Igniting a profound envy within them, Jin Lan gradually opened her enchanting eyes, a glimmer of brilliance flashing within them. The emergence of the sword intent's embryonic form came as a delightful surprise to her. She had not anticipated such smooth progress, not only encountering the sword intent, but also successfully comprehending its nascent shape. With her current combat prowess, she could even contend against a 5-star celestial origin expert. Just as Jin Lan reveled in her triumph, a rumbling sound resonated from the depths of the sword abyss, sharp energies emanating from below. Witnessing this scene, everyone widened their eyes in astonishment, quickly followed by exuberant joy. It was the sword tomb. Undoubtedly, the legendary sword tomb had appeared. It was said that within this tomb lay countless treasured swords, and perhaps even the presence of superior spiritual swords. Let us rush forth. The numerous sword cultivators, upon witnessing this spectacle, recalled the legends surrounding the sword abyss. It was said that a supreme sword cultivator deemed this place as fated to him, depositing all the swords he had acquired into the established sword tomb, including superior spiritual swords, thus leaving a chance for those destined to find them. The sword tomb has indeed manifested. I must acquire a treasured sword. Jin Lan's beautiful eyes sparkled with boundless excitement, while everyone else remained in shock. She had already leaped into the abyss. Following suit, all the sword cultivators roared and plunged into the depths, their expressions flushed with fervor. Simultaneously, the Ning family's carriage arrived late, halting beside the sword abyss. The aura of the sword path is so intense. Could it be that the legendary sword tomb has emerged? Ning Chuan was taken aback as he observed the desolate surroundings of the sword abyss. Various sharp, sword energies swirling about. This realization struck him immediately. No, the sword tomb must harbor numerous exquisite swords. If I can obtain some and refine them, would that not be rather formidable? With this thought, Ning Chuan turned his gaze towards Dian Wei and Guan Yu. General Guan Yu, you shall continue leading the Ning family towards the southern frontier. General Dian Wei, accompany me as we descend into the sword abyss to investigate whether the sword tomb has indeed appeared. Ning Chuan spoke without hesitation. Such an opportunity laid before him. How could he possibly let it slip away? Yes, both Dian Wei and Guan Yu promptly replied. Subsequently, Guan Yu led the members of the Ning family onward, while Dian Wei and Ning Chuan ventured towards the depths of the sword abyss. Before long, they reached the underground, where a colossal bronze door emerged before them. The bronze door stood ajar, and the myriad sword energies officially radiated forth from within. It seemed some individuals had already ventured inside. Let us also take a look, Ning Chuan suggested, and without further ado, he and Dian Wei stepped forward, crossing the threshold of the bronze door. Suddenly, Ning Chuan found himself in a vast, dim underground space. At the farthest reaches of his vision, mounds of graves of various sizes were piled upon the earth. Atop each of these graves stood a sword, covered in a layer of dust. There were nearly 1,000 graves, which indicated the presence of as many swords. Upon a cursory glance, it was evident that each sword embedded in the graves was at least of inferior spiritual weapon quality, with the majority being of middle-grade spiritual weapon quality. Before these thousands of graves, numerous disciples from the sword sect, brandishing their long swords, were filled with excitement. Chapter 15. Have they all flown here? My goodness. So many precious swords. Hurry, they are all ours. Mine, from the Sparrow Gate Sword Sect. Don't be ridiculous. They belong to my Dragon Nest Sword Sect. Step aside. These are clearly all from our 10,000 Sword Sect. My fellow Taoists, the Jade Maiden Sword Sect deserves a share as well. The true disciples of the 4 major sword sects went into a frenzy, scattering as they rushed toward the graves. They aimed to gather all the spiritual swords into their storage rings with the utmost speed. The faster they were, the more long swords they could acquire. Even obtaining a single sword would significantly enhance their combat prowess, let alone having the luxury of choosing from such a multitude. However, in the next moment, despite all their might, none of the disciples from the sword sects could pull a single sword from the graves. Frustration erupted among them. Some, refusing to accept defeat, switched swords multiple times, yet none could be extracted. What on earth is happening? Why can't we pull any of them out? Is it possible that these priceless treasures are right before us, yet we cannot obtain them? This is utterly bizarre. Their faces flushed with determination, many continued to struggle. Yet the swords remained steadfastly lodged in the graves, unmoving. Only Jin Lan from the Jade Maiden Sword Sect was diligently searching for something, refraining from recklessly attempting to extract a sword. This is intriguing. It seems these swords do not acknowledge the disciples of the sword sects. Witnessing this scene, a look of surprise crossed Ning Chuan's face. Perhaps these swords deemed the true disciples' swordsmanship insufficient. They would not accept them. Instead, they clung to their former wielder's swords. Yet, Ning Chuan was uncertain if he could pull one out. Just as he prepared to give it a try, a notification from the system echoed in his mind. Ding. Host detected at the broken sword abyss. Would you like to check in? A check-in? Ning Chuan's heart leaped with joy, and he promptly responded, check in. Ding, congratulations. Host has obtained a sword intent seed. It has been automatically integrated into the host's body. As the system's voice faded, an aura emanated from Ning Chuan, one that seemed capable of tearing the very heavens asunder with its sword intent. In an instant, it enveloped the entire sword tomb. This presence startled all the disciples from the sword sects. Sword intent? Who has comprehended the sword intent? Who could possibly grasp the sword intent here? What has transpired here? Just moments ago, one had grasped the nascent essence of sword intent, and in the blink of an eye, another had comprehended the sword intent itself. Numerous disciples of the sword sect felt a chill as they inhaled sharply, their hearts flooded with an overwhelming sense of astonishment. It is worth noting that sword intent is a mastery possessed by only a few within their sect. Typically, it is the domain of the 7-star Earth Immortals, the sect master, or the 8-star and 9-star Earth Immortal ancestors, who, after centuries of profound immersion in the sword path, have come to wield such power. Yet here, amidst the younger generation of sword sect disciples, who among them has truly comprehended sword intent. Following the source of the sword intent, the crowd beheld a striking young man, exuding a powerful aura of sword intent. Is this what sword intent truly is? The instant he grasped the sword intent, the Xianling heavy sword technique ascended to a state of perfection, amplifying his combat prowess exponentially. Ning Chuan murmured softly, a smile gracing his visage, and in the next moment, he fully unleashed the sword intent enveloping him. With a thunderous roar, the piercing sword intent struck the faces of all present like a sharp wind. The disciples of the sword sect gasped once more, realizing the terrifying magnitude of the sword intent. Though this young man was merely at the one-star Earth origin realm, they perceived that his combat power was at least equivalent to that of a celestial origin realm warrior. The enhancement provided by sword intent to one's combat abilities is indeed monumental. Just as the crowd was engulfed in shock, suddenly, the myriad swords atop the graves began to tremble violently, as if yearning to soar from their resting places. No, it cannot be. But they cannot all fly away. A sense of foreboding crept into the hearts of the sword sect disciples as they witnessed this scene. Yet, in the next moment, the most unwelcome sight materialized before them. The thousands of swords atop the graves surged forth, hurtling towards the handsome young man, who appeared somewhat familiar. Ah, have they all been drawn to me? Then I shall not be courteous. With a wave of his hand, Ning Chuan opened his storage ring and frantically collected the thousands of swords before him. Having accomplished his goal, he turned to leave, no longer needing to linger in this place. Halt! Fellow cultivator, one person cannot take away thousands of treasures. Do you intend to hoard them all? Suddenly, several fierce shouts echoed, and numerous disciples of the sword sect advanced toward Ning Chuan, emanating a sharp aura. All shall share. Take out the swords from your storage ring, and we shall each select 3 to 5 pieces. The remainder shall be yours. The 4 foremost disciples, all of 6-star celestial origin realm, stepped forward, their tone decidedly unfriendly. Having not acquired a single sword themselves, how could they allow this individual, who had claimed thousands of swords, to depart unchallenged? Are you attempting to rob me? Ning Chuan turned to face the assembled prodigies of the sword sect, a smile gracing his face. Rob? If you insist on framing it thus, then it may be construed as such. Your actions are quite unscrupulous. We have also informed the elders of the sect, and the master will arrive shortly. Even if you possess protectors from the earthly immortal realm, you must surrender those long swords. They are the true disciples of the sword sect, not foolish individuals. They certainly sense that the cultivator beside the handsome youth is a formidable being of the earthly immortal realm. Had it not been for that powerful figure, they would have rushed forward to seize the swords rather than engage in this futile dialogue. The primary objective now is to buy time. No. So you simply do not wish to reason with me. Ning Chuan smiled faintly, casually retrieving a storage ring and pouring out thousands of precious swords onto the ground. The clattering sound echoed as inferior spirit swords, mid-grade spirit swords, and even over a dozen superior spirit swords spilled forth. Here is your opportunity, if you desire them. Come and take them. Ning Chuan chuckled, gesturing toward the multitude of swords scattered on the ground. The eyes of many disciples of the sword sect widened in astonishment, a peculiar and greedy glint flickering in their gaze. It seems that showcasing the sect's treasures is indeed effective. This allows them to select at will. Superior spirit weapons. Those are treasures that could serve as the sect's defensive armament, worth their weight in gold. Among that pile of long swords, there are dozens of such blades. Simply acquiring 2 would indeed be a fortune. Chapter 16. The sword slays the true disciples. With this thought, 2 disciples from the sword sect, both at the 6-star celestial origin realm, were the first to act, stepping forward to grasp the abundant swords at their feet. The expressions of the others flushed crimson upon witnessing this scene. How infuriating! They are a step ahead. Their reaction was astonishingly swift. However, just as the majority of the sword sect disciples prepared to make their move, a whooshing sound sliced through the air. A flash of sword light appeared, and with a chilling crack, 2 massive heads soared through the air, blood spraying forth and drenching everyone behind them. The searing blood splattered across their faces, halting everyone in their tracks as they stared in shock at the 2 headless corpses collapsing to the ground. The severed heads landed heavily amidst their ranks. Who else? Come forward and take them if you dare. Ning Chuan, wielding a long sword that had mysteriously appeared in his hand, emanated a 3-foot aura of sword energy that sent a chill down the spines of all who beheld it. You have slain the 2 most powerful true disciples of the Dragon Nest Sword Sect and the Sparrowgate Sword Sect. You are doomed. You are surely doomed. Many exclaimed in horror as they retreated. The young man was simply too terrifying. Despite being merely at the 1-star earthly origin realm, he had effortlessly dispatched the 2 strongest true disciples of the sword sect with a single strike. This is utterly horrifying. Enough with the idle chatter. If you have the ability, come and take them. If you lack the capability, I shall take my leave. Ning Chuan casually unleashed a surge of spiritual energy, sweeping away the long swords and storage rings from the hands of the two celestial origin realm sword cultivators. His gaze fell once more upon the crowd as he softly spoke. Give you 10 breaths to contemplate. Ning Chuan appeared remarkably calm on the surface, yet his heart fluttered with excitement. His current combat prowess had indeed surpassed that of his former self. Back then, he was merely a 6-star celestial. Now, he rivaled the terrestrial immortals. Upon hearing his words, the onlookers twitched their lips. Who would dare to challenge him? Was it a death wish? Finding it tedious, Ning Chuan shook his head and casually stowed away the 1,000-long swords. He turned to leave. However, at the very moment Ning Chuan pivoted, a sudden clamor of battle erupted behind him. Immediately, a swift figure, a woman, advanced towards Ning Chuan. If you wish to flee, surrender the high-grade spiritual sword in your possession. That sword is not meant for you. Dozens of figures swiftly encircled the woman, led by Zhao Fei, the foremost disciple of the Jade Maiden Sword sect, her voice laced with cold disdain. The high-grade spiritual weapon is rightfully mine. By what authority do you claim it? Jin Lan, clutching a purple long sword that exuded an air of exquisite nobility due to its infused spiritual energy, retorted fiercely. Do not think you have concealed your intentions well. Everyone is aware of your ulterior motives. Are you plotting to enhance your strength with a high-grade spiritual weapon for the purpose of exacting revenge on the Grand Elder? We inform you, ha ha ha. Before you entered our sect, your lineage was thoroughly investigated. Had it not been for the Grand Elder's curiosity regarding your potential, you would have perished long ago. The moment you entered the sect, you were already deemed dead. Today, you will surrender the high-grade spiritual weapon, whether willingly or not. As Zhao Fei spoke, she swung her long sword menacingly toward Jin Lan. What? Jin Lan's exquisite visage drained of color, her delicate frame trembling uncontrollably. Instinctively, she raised her sword to defend herself, but due to the vast disparity in their cultivation levels, she was effortlessly sent flying by the strike. Blood spewed from her mouth as she crashed heavily to the ground. All of you know, Jin Lan struggled to raise her head. Directing a furious gaze at Zhao Fei, her beautiful eyes ablaze with wrath, while a sense of despair enveloped her heart. She realized she might not survive this day. She never anticipated that the secret buried deep within her heart was known to everyone in the Jade Maiden Sword sect. Very at the critical moment, a flash of sword light suddenly pierced the air, accompanied by the sound of clashing metal, as the long sword, poised to strike Jin Lan, fell to the ground from a distance. Simultaneously, a faint voice resonated, proclaiming, I have preserved her life. As the words echoed, Ning Chuan appeared beside Jin Lan. His gaze fixed on her as he extended a large hand. Jin Lan looked up at Ning Chuan, her beautiful eyes wide with disbelief. Her expression a mixture of confusion and astonishment. You have already left, and you have acquired so many exquisite swords. Our Jade Maiden Sword sect has no intention of coveting your possessions, so why do you interfere in our sect's affairs? Zhao Fei, observing Ning Chuan's figure, instinctively took a step back, a hint of anger flashing across her delicate face. She had just witnessed Ning Chuan's formidable combat prowess and dared not approach. Just as she saw Jin Lan extract a superior spiritual sword from the grave, she acted swiftly. However, she had not anticipated that this individual would intervene to protect Jin Lan. You speak too much. Utter one more word, and I shall silence you, Ning Chuan remarked, casting a sidelong glance at Zhao Fei. He then turned his attention back to Jin Lan. Are you not coming with me? What are you waiting for? Upon hearing this, Jin Lan finally reacted, hastily grasping Ning Chuan's hand and rising to her feet, enduring the pain coursing through her body as she stood behind him. Let us go, Ning Chuan urged, leading Jin Lan forward. No one dared to obstruct them, nor did anyone utter a word. They merely watched as the three figures vanished into the sword mound. Damn it. Quickly, notify the sect. That boy possesses a sword of immeasurable worth, enough to elevate our sect to the foremost sword sect in the Great Li, even causing the imperial family to regard us with trepidation. All disciples of the sword sect immediately began to send messages. Zhao Fei, her face flushed with anger, was no exception. They had not yet informed their sect, as they intended to seize a portion of this opportunity for themselves. Not only her, but other true disciples of various sword sects shared the same sentiment. News spread to the major sword sects, igniting a fervor among them. A 7th-grade healing pill should be beneficial for your injuries. In the remaining carriage, Ning Chuan turned to the pale-faced Jin Lan and offered her a pill. However, the system interface before him displayed a crucial notification. This prompt was the fundamental reason behind Ning Chuan's intervention to save her. Chapter 17, Sword Spirit Body. Sword Attendant. The system notification read, Ding. A sword Dao prodigy possessing a sword spirit body has been detected. with boundless potential for the future. Recruiting them will enhance your foundation and grant you 100,000 synthesis points. Upon seeing this notification, Ning Chuan instantly understood who among the gathered sword disciples was the extraordinary prodigy endowed with a sword spirit body. It was Jin Lan, who had drawn forth the superior spiritual sword. Previously, within the sword mound, she had exuded a sword intent that caused all the swords to acknowledge her, while none other had gained their recognition. Only Jin Lan has earned the recognition of a superior spirit sword. These various indications confirm that Jin Lan is undoubtedly a prodigy possessing the body of a sword spirit. Jin Lan gazed at the 7th grade healing elixir before her, but did not reach for it immediately. Instead, she shook her head, her eyes resting on Ning Chuan's handsome visage. A glimmer of gratitude flashing in her beautiful gaze, thankful that young Master Ning had saved her. However, the Yunu sword sect would not easily let her go. It would be best for you to leave me behind on the road to avoid unnecessary trouble. Young Master Ning? Ning Chuan was momentarily taken aback. You know me? He was somewhat puzzled, as he had not mentioned his name along the way. Ning Chuan, young Master Ning, the most dazzling and legendary prodigy of the Dali Empire. I have seen your portrait before, and you are even more handsome in person. Jin Lan spoke expressionlessly. She was not one to smile often, nor did she exhibit much in the way of other expressions. When she spoke, she typically did so with a stoic demeanor. Ah, you know I am Ning Chuan, yet you fear that I cannot contend with the Unisword sect? Upon hearing such earnest praise, Ning Chuan felt a twinge of amusement. It was evident that Jin Lan was not accustomed to complimenting others. Whoever praised someone with such a cold expression? Aren't you on your way to the southern wilderness? Moreover, your cultivation has fallen to a star-level earth origin, likely due to your supreme bone being extracted, she continued. Though you have earthly immortal guards, the Yunu sword sect is exceedingly formidable. I do not wish for you to be dragged into this turmoil because of me. Your saving my life is already an insurmountable kindness. I cannot involve you further in this mess. Jin Lan spoke again, her expression still devoid of emotion. Ning Chuan, a recognized figure of the Dali Empire, had been well known even in her childhood, when he was still relatively young but already a household name. Often referred to as the Young Supreme. Later, upon joining the Yunu sword sect, she learned of the recent events. This time, Jin Lan attempted to muster a semblance of a smile, yet she could not quite achieve it. Hearing her words, Ning Chuan felt a pang of frustration. Truly, as a renowned figure, wherever he went, news of events seemed to follow him. Surely, the rumors of his flirtation with Lu Qingxue had spread far and wide. It is indeed said that good news travels slowly while bad news travels like wildfire. Putting that aside, whether or not to wade into murky waters is not for you to decide. I possess thousands of treasured swords. And given that my Ning family has fallen to such depths, do you think they would relinquish those swords in my possession? Not a chance, he declared with a smile. Thus, you need not worry on that front. Of course, he felt not a shred of fear. In fact, he was eager for the challenge. With generals Dian Wei and Guan Yu as his protectors, what was there to fear? One would fall, or even two. He would seamlessly gain some synthesis points in the process. Then, what of you, young master? Jin Lan inquired, a look of confusion gracing her face. She was well aware that the major sword sects would likely not spare him, yet he remained so calm. Truly, he was worthy of being called the greatest prodigy of the Dali Empire. The strength of their various sword sects is quite formidable, and the two celestial beings outside are not to be underestimated. As for you, what are your future plans? I perceive that you possess some talent in the sword path, Ning Chuan casually remarked. I once believed that everything was within my control, yet it appears that I was rather naive. Having departed from the Jade Maiden sword sect, devoid of resources and martial arts, with only a modicum of talent, I cannot achieve great things. However, I shall not forget my hatred. One day, I will cultivate my skills and seek vengeance against the Grand Elder of the Jade Maiden sect. As vengeance was mentioned, a fierce sword intent erupted around Jin Lan. Though it was merely the nascent form of sword intent, it possessed a formidable power. Of course, should I gain the ability in the future, I will surely repay your kindness, young master. Jin Lan paused, glancing at Ning Chuan as she spoke slowly, her tone tinged with uncertainty. Before her stood Ning Chuan, who, despite having lost his supreme bone, exhibited an extraordinary talent in the sword path, unparalleled even by the elders and the sect leader of the Jade Maiden sword sect. She believed that Ning Chuan was destined to become a formidable swordsman within the Great Li dynasty. Her own talent seemed trivial in comparison. If you have no place to go, then accompany me, the young master said, a smile suddenly gracing his face. By staying by my side, your life will be secure, and you shall lack for cultivation resources. Your talent in the sword path is commendable. I believe it will not be long before you achieve the cultivation and realm of your dreams, Ning Chuan stated earnestly. You wish to? Jin Lan was taken aback. her cheeks flushing momentarily before the color faded. How could the young master possibly take an interest in someone lacking in strength and burdened with troubles? Unrefined jade cannot become a gem, in my eyes. You are a piece of raw jade. By remaining by my side, you need not worry about cultivation resources, martial arts, or techniques. I will sculpt you into the most powerful female sword immortal in the entire Great Li, perhaps even in the realm of Xiling. As for vengeance, that is merely the beginning. Ning Chuan spoke slowly, his tone imbued with unparalleled confidence. With the system at his disposal, nurturing a female sword immortal would be a simple task. Jin Lan found herself momentarily stunned, as if caught in a dream. It all felt too fantastical. Though she was unsure whether Ning Chuan could fulfill his promises, given that he had just saved her life, she felt compelled to heed his every word. Moreover, he wished to cultivate her, to rescue her from peril. In that moment, Jin Lan was moved. Throughout her life, since the passing of her parents and kin, she had never heard words like these. I, the young lady, pay my respects to my master. From this day forth, I, Jin Lan, shall be the servant of young Master Ning, devoted to serving you at all times. With a soft thud, Jin Lan knelt before Ning Chuan, lifting her gaze to him, her beautiful eyes shimmering with unwavering determination. Ding. Congratulations, host, for successfully recruiting the outstanding sword spirit, gaining 100,000 synthesis points. Ding. As this is the host's first successful recruitment of a prodigy, an additional reward is granted. 10 sword servant cards, peak of the celestial realm. Ding. The host has reached 10 sword servant cards. Consuming 10,000 synthesis points will allow the synthesis of a sword servant of the land immortal realm. Chapter 18. Shimin Chui Shui, the semi-holy weapon. The continuous notifications echoed in Ning Chuan's mind, and a radiant smile blossomed on his face. Rise. There is no need for excessive formalities. He waved his hand, urging her to stand. First, heal your wounds. It won't be long before those disciples of the sword sect come pursuing us. When the time comes, I shall show you what true sword intent is, which will benefit your comprehension and mastery of it. A hint of brightness appeared on Jin Lan's previously expressionless face, filled with hope for the future. She promptly consumed a 7th grade healing pill and began her recovery. At that moment, Ning Chuan turned his attention to the system. Synthesized the sword servant of the land immortal realm. Without hesitation, he made his choice. The addition of another sword servant of the land immortal realm would undoubtedly make future battles more effortless. Ding. Congratulations, host, for consuming 10 sword servant cards and 10,000 synthesis points, successfully synthesizing a 3-star land immortal, Shimin Chui Shui. As the system's voice faded, a sharp sword intent pierced through the air, parting the curtain of the door as Ning Chuan stood at the front of the carriage. Before him, a graceful figure, bearing a long sword, descended from the sky. Upon seeing this, Dian Wei's expression changed. He was about to intervene when a single utterance from the figure halted him. Shimin Chui Shui, at your service, my lord. Shimin Chui Shui landed gracefully before the carriage, kneeling on one knee in reverence to Ning Chuan. There is no need for excessive formalities. Come aboard the carriage and accompany me on our journey. With a wave of his hand, Shimin Chui Shui ascended into the carriage. Standing before Ning Chuan, the space outside the carriage was ample, accommodating 2 individuals comfortably. Before Ning Chuan, information about Shimin Chui Shui materialized. Marshal General, Shimin Chui Shui. Cultivation, 3-star land immortal, weapon, black sheath mystic sword, physique, heartless sword body, not activated. Activation requires refining a 9th grade heartless fruit. Practicing the heartless sword path? Ning Chuan inquired softly, his gaze fixed on Shimin Chui Shui. Indeed, my lord. However, it is heartless towards others, yet I am 100% loyal to you. Shimin Chui Shui replied, his demeanor profoundly respectful. That is good. Ning Chuan nodded in approval. The heartless sword path, the most ruthless. Let us hope it doesn't lead to a point where even he cannot recognize himself, for that would indeed be a farce. Shimin Chui Shui, you shall drive the carriage alongside Dian Wei. We may soon face another battle. Upon hearing this, Shimin Chui Shui's eyes gleamed with intensity. Ning Chuan understood instantly that this subordinate was indeed a harbinger of death. The physical prowess of Dian Wei can annihilate 10,000 foes before it is activated, while Shimin Chui Shui merely requires a single flower of the 9th grade, heartless bloom. Back within the carriage, Ning Chuan once again glanced at the system notifications before him, which displayed several messages. Ding. The number of 6th grade spirit infusing pills has reached 100. You may synthesize an 8th grade heavenly spirit pill. Would you like to proceed with the synthesis? Cost, 10,000 synthesis points. These notifications were merely the system's way of indicating the items he could synthesize. Upon reading the last message, Ning Chuan's eyes widened in astonishment. 200,000 synthesis points, enough to forge a quasi-saint weapon, if he were to wield such a weapon. Would his combat prowess not experience an exponential surge? A quasi-saint weapon, mind you, is a rarity even within the Great Li dynasty, let alone the entirety of the Xiling region. Such a weapon transcends the realm of supreme spirit weapons. Indeed, the Great Li dynasty has never possessed even a supreme spirit weapon. Forge the Longyuan sword. Ning Chuan exclaimed with excitement. Ding. Synthesis failed. Insufficient synthesis points. Ning Chuan could only chuckle wryly, having forgotten that he possessed merely 100,000 points. He was still far from the required 200,000. With this realization, he abandoned the thought of synthesizing other items, as everyone else was temporarily well supplied. Furthermore, the 8th grade Heavenly Spirit Pill would not significantly enhance his cultivation at this stage. It would be wiser to accumulate points and directly synthesize a quasi-saint weapon later. Liu Ruyan, your hypocritical days are perhaps numbered, Ning Chuan murmured softly, then immersed himself in comprehending the mystical heavy spirit sword art. This technique had already reached a significant level of mastery. Upon achieving perfection, he would be ready to cultivate the sacred level sword art, the star-shattering technique. With a grasp of sword intent, Ning Chuan found the practice of the mystical heavy spirit sword art as effortless as eating or drinking. Before long, Ning Chuan reunited with Guan Yu and the Ning family members, as several carriages and a number of great snow dragon riders surged forward with remarkable speed. Simultaneously, the 4 major sword sects, the Yunu sword sect, the Cayman sword sect, and the Longqiao sword sect, sent their earthly immortals to the broken sword abyss. Dozens of high-grade spirit swords, totaling over 1,000 spirit swords, all claimed by a single individual. The 8 earthly immortal elders from the 4 sword sects were momentarily struck with profound shock. It is essential to understand that the 4 major sword sects are renowned not only for their prowess, but also because each sect possesses a terrifyingly powerful long sword, an upper-grade spirit sword. The sudden appearance of dozens of upper-grade spirit weapons and over 1,000 spirit weapons left even these esteemed elders gasping in disbelief. Fellow cultivators, as sword practitioners, those swords hold an ineffable significance for us. If we unite our strengths to eliminate that individual, how about we share the spoils equally? The 3rd elder of the Yunu sword sect took a deep breath and addressed the assembly. Agreed, agreed, came the chorus of affirmation. In honor and disgrace, we share both. The other elders of the sword sect eagerly spoke up. In an instant, 8 figures transformed into beams of sword light and soared towards the south. Most of them were at the 4-star and 5-star levels of Earth Immortal, capable of flying at speeds that could cover 100,000 miles in a day. Catching up to the carriage would be a straightforward task. During their flight, the 3rd and 2nd elders of the Jade Maiden Sword sect were filled with excitement, contemplating the prospect of acquiring over a dozen superior spirit weapons, from which their sect could at least claim 3. Moreover, Zhao Fei had informed them that the little vixen, Jin Lan, possessed another superior spirit weapon, totaling 4. The thought of returning to their sect with such a bounty made their hearts race with anticipation. With their 8 members joining forces, the coveted sword seemed all but assured. Chapter 19. A single stroke, the 8 Earth Immortal sword cultivators flew swiftly, their speed astonishing. In the blink of an eye, they spotted several carriages, along with 3 formidable Earth Immortal practitioners. One was a 6-star Earth Immortal, another a 4-star, and the last a 3-star. The expressions of the sword cultivators shifted, surprised to find 3 powerful opponents among them. Nevertheless, they had no intention of retreating. With 8 of them, including 2 6-star Earth Immortal cultivators, they believed they could handle the 3. With a roar, they simultaneously accelerated, swiftly overtaking the carriage of the Ning family. They landed on the ground, effectively blocking the carriage's path. Fellow cultivators, hand over the thousands of precious swords in your possession, and perhaps we may spare your lives. Those thousands of swords are beyond your grasp. As soon as they touched down, they shouted menacingly at the slowly halting carriage. Simultaneously, a terrifying pressure emanated from the 8 Earth Immortal cultivators, bearing down on the carriage to instill fear in those within. Ha ha ha, if I cannot take them, who else could? Ning Chuan suddenly appeared on the ground, a hint of amusement in his gaze as he regarded the assembled Earth Immortals. Dian Wei, Guan Yu, and Shimin Chue Shui immediately positioned themselves beside Ning Chuan, standing in defiance against the 8 adversaries. Ning Chuan had anticipated correctly. The major sword sects would undoubtedly not relinquish the thousands of swords. However, he had not expected such a large contingent to be sent. 8 formidable Earth Immortal warriors. Jin Lan, as Ning Chuan's devoted handmaiden, quickly stepped out of the carriage and stood silently behind him, her beautiful eyes cast toward the 8 Earth Immortals, her heart filled with trepidation. Those standing before them were among the most powerful elders of the various sword sections. The Jade Maiden Sword sect had dispatched its 2nd and 3rd elders, both among its elite. With 8 formidable opponents, could their master prevail? The Ning family, adhering to Ning Chuan's prior instructions, remained inside the carriage. The cultivation of the Ning family is woefully inadequate, so much so that a mere breath emitted during the battle between earthly immortals could severely injure or even annihilate them. Thus, remaining within that carriage is the wisest course of action. And you, young man, have acquired those 1,000 exquisite swords, have you not? Since you lack the sense to comprehend the gravity of your situation, I shall eliminate you all. A 6-star earthly immortal swordsman immediately unsheathed his longsword, a fierce sword intent radiating from him. He was the Grand Elder of the Sparrow Gate Sword Sect, boasting a 6-star earthly immortal cultivation level and having mastered the 8th tier sword art, the Azure Sparrow Profound Spirit Sword Technique, to its pinnacle, along with comprehending sword intent. Though it may only be at the introductory level, its terror was palpable. With a single strike, he could cleave the young man before him. Impudent. If you wish to lay hands on my lord, you must first pass through me. Guan Yu snorted coldly, unleashing his own 6-star earthly immortal cultivation. The sharp blade aura swirling violently around his green dragon crescent blade, exuding an overwhelming presence. Suddenly, the elder of the Jade Maiden Sword Sect, preparing to unleash his own sword intent, fixed his gaze on Ning Chuan, his eyes widening in astonishment. Fellow Taoists, this young man is Ning Chuan, once the pride of the great Li dynasty, born with a supreme bone. Could it be that this caravan belongs to the Ning family? The elder of the Jade Maiden Sword Sect gasped, leaving all the other swordsmen momentarily stunned. Before them stood Ning Chuan, and this caravan belonged to the Ning family, one of the 3 ancient clans of the great Li dynasty, whose power surpassed that of all 4 sword sects combined. So it is indeed a member of the Ning family, exiled to the southern frontier. How amusing. No wonder those carriages are filled with individuals lacking any cultivation. And to think I would have the pleasure of humiliating the once great Ning Chuan today. A 5-star earthly immortal from the Dragon Nest Sword Sect suddenly erupted in derisive laughter, his eyes gleaming with delight as he regarded Ning Chuan. His own son had once ventured to the imperial capital to challenge Ning Chuan, only to be brutally defeated, leaving him crippled and unable to cultivate, condemned to a mundane existence for life. This had left him seething with resentment, but now, fortune had favored him at last. The Ning family. Who could have imagined that such a once glorious house would find itself in such a dire state? Exiled to the southern frontier. It seems you shall find no refuge here. You will rest eternally in this place. Another elder from the Sparrow Gate, recognizing the situation, joined in the mockery. Are you finished? Ning Chuan's voice, cold and detached, pierced the air, yet there was a hint of amusement flickering in his eyes. What? Do you still wish to kill us? Then come forth. Not just you, but your 3 earthly immortal guardians shall meet the same fate. Elder Longchao spoke, raising the long sword in his hand, and in an instant, he struck towards Ning Chuan. The sword light flickered, and a 9-foot sword aura cleaved through the air, swiftly approaching Ning Chuan. At that moment, 3 figures beside Ning Chuan moved simultaneously. Shimin Shui Shui also drew his sword first, unleashing a 3-foot sword aura to meet the oncoming strike. With a crisp sound of intertwining sword energies, both sword auras vanished simultaneously. Guan Yu and Dian Wei had already advanced before the 8 terrestrial immortals within that fleeting moment. How dare these insignificant beings provoke the master before them? Guan Yu bellowed, as his Qinglong Yanue blade swung towards one of the 5-star terrestrial immortals who had derided Ning Chuan. Dian Wei charged towards another 5-star terrestrial immortal from the Sparrow Gate Sword Sect. The overwhelming aura radiating from them was akin to that of ancient ferocious beasts, instilling sheer terror in the 2 5-star terrestrial immortals, leaving them momentarily stunned. Instinctively, they attempted to raise their long swords to defend, but it was too late. With a swift motion, the Qinglong Yanue blade and the double blood halberd descended, shattering the swords in their hands. The blades struck their bodies directly. One was cleaved into 3 pieces by the double blood halberd, while the other was severed in half by Guan Yu's strike. Blood gushed forth, splattering onto the other sword cultivators who gaped in disbelief. The searing blood awakened the onlookers, and they instinctively recoiled. The 2 figures before them were simply too fearsome. A 6-star terrestrial immortal had been slain with a single blow, and yet, a mere 4-star terrestrial immortal had obliterated a 5-star terrestrial immortal in a single strike. What madness was this? Their combat prowess exceeded all imaginable limits. Chapter 20. 9-tiered Royal Spirit Pill. Who are you? How can your combat power be so formidable? The remaining 6 sword cultivators gathered, and the second elder of the Jade Maiden Sword Sect spoke with a quiver in her voice. As a 5-star terrestrial immortal herself, she realized that if targeted by these 2, her life would be at risk. How could they be so powerful? Who are we? I am your nemesis. Leave none alive. Ning Chuan's indifferent voice rang out. Immediately, Ning Chuan and Shimin Shui Shui surged towards the 6. Observing this, Guan Yu and Dian Wei followed suit, eschewing further words. Guan Yu alone enveloped the two 6-star terrestrial immortals with his blade, while Dian Wei aimed for the two elders of the Jade Maiden Sword sect. Shimin Chui Shui faced one 4-star terrestrial immortal, and Ning Chuan charged at another. Boom, boom, boom. The battle erupted in a cacophony of chaos. The 4-star terrestrial immortals were nothing more than this. Ning Chuan's battle intent surged, his black hair billowing without wind. And the mid-grade spirit sword in his hand was like a towering mountain, bearing down with an overwhelming pressure, striking repeatedly against the sword of the 4-star terrestrial immortal. The Elder of the Sparrow Gate spewed blood continuously from his mouth, retreating in disbelief as he gazed at Ning Chuan. Ning Chuan. How could this be? He exclaimed, struggling to defend himself while expressing utter astonishment. He could hardly believe his eyes. Ning Chuan, merely at the 1st star of the Earth Origin realm, had transcended not just the Earth Origin and Heaven Origin realms, but also the 4 minor realms of the Earth Immortal, striking him with such force that he coughed blood. This was nothing short of monstrous. How dare you utter the name Ning Chuan? Prepare to die? Ning Chuan was exhilarated. He had always relished the thrill of battle in his previous life, and here, he found himself equally enamored with combat, especially under the amplified power bestowed by the hands of the Celestial. It was sheer domination. With a mighty swing of his heavy sword, imbued with a force several times greater than before, he struck the Elder of the Sparrow Gate directly. The Elder was propelled like a cannonball, crashing into the distant earth, blood spurting from his mouth. Monster! You are truly a monster, Ning Chuan. Even though the Elder, a cultivator of the Earth Immortal realm, possessed immense vitality and had been heavily struck to the ground, he was not yet dead. In a panic, the Elder exclaimed, turning his back to flee. Fear gripped him, especially upon witnessing Ning Chuan's terrifying combat prowess. He was genuinely afraid of dying at Ning Chuan's hands. In a desperate bid to escape, he even resorted to burning his essence blood, soaring into the sky in an attempt to flee. He reasoned that while Ning Chuan's strength was formidable, he might not possess the ability to fly, and even if he could, he might not be as swift as he. Hope lingered in his heart. Observing this, Ning Chuan merely smiled faintly and casually tapped his beast storage bag. Instantly, the 1,000-eyed snow ant appeared, transforming into a streak of white light that charged toward the fleeing Elder. In the blink of an eye, it reached the Elder's rear, and with a swift cut of its sharp mandibles, it severed the Elder's head. The Elder fell to the ground, lifeless, while the 1,000-eyed snow ant emitted a chirping sound, its aura beginning to surge. Witnessing this, a smile graced Ning Chuan's lips. Those who sought to kill him and seize his treasures were not deserving of mercy. Ning Chuan then turned his gaze toward the ongoing battles around him. He saw that Shimin Chui Shui and Dian Wei had concluded their skirmish. Landing on the ground amid the bodies of the various sword sect elders, the earth soaked in crimson blood. On Guan Yu's side, only a 6-star Earth Immortal remained. I swear, even as a ghost, I will not let you escape. The Sparrow Gate sword sect will avenge me. As his words fell, the advancing 6-star Earth Immortal sword cultivator met his demise, cleaved in two by a single stroke. The scene was gruesome, resembling a hellish inferno on Earth. At the very moment the last corpse fell, a series of chimes echoed in Ning Chuan's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Your subordinates have slain a formidable being of the Earth Immortal realm, earning you 45,000 synthesis points. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Your subordinates have slain another being of the Earth Immortal realm, earning you 50,000 synthesis points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for vanquishing a 4-star Earth Immortal, achieving a significant overlevel kill and earning double synthesis points, totaling 70,000. With each notification, a radiant smile illuminated Ning Chuan's face. Previously, he had been filled with anxiety, uncertain of how to amass 200,000 synthesis points. Yet now, in the blink of an eye, they had materialized. Ding! Congratulations to the host for accumulating a total of 350,000 synthesis points. Upon hearing the final system prompt, Ning Chuan's gaze fixed upon the system interface. Host, Ning Chuan. Cultivation, 1-star Earth Origin. Talent, Celestial Bone. Influence, none. Sword Intent, Beginner, in growth. Synthesis points, 440,000. System space, 100 Great Snow Dragon Riders. Hiss, including the previous 90,000. That amounts to over 400,000 synthesis points. What a splendid opportunity to indulge. Ning Chuan inhaled sharply, a glimmer of delight dancing across his features. With these synthesis points, coupled with the bounties bestowed by the Earth Immortals before him, he could surely forge a plethora of extraordinary items. After tidying up, he prepared to depart. Ning Chuan cast a beaming smile at the 3 Earth Immortals. These 3 were indeed titans among warriors. While their cultivation levels appeared modest, their combat prowess far exceeded what their ranks suggested. Although perhaps not as exaggerated as his own, they were undeniably formidable. It could be asserted that within the entirety of Dali and even the vast expanse of Ziling, none of their peers could rival them. The trio promptly began to gather their belongings. Before long, 8 storage rings were placed in Ning Chuan's hands. The thousand-eyed snow ant returned to Ning Chuan's mystical pet storage bag, immediately succumbing to slumber. Ning Chuan understood that it had feasted well. Upon awakening, it would likely ascend in rank once more. At this moment, Jin Lan had just emerged from her state of shock. A resplendent smile graced her exquisite features, as if she had truly stumbled upon an extraordinary fortuity. 4 horse-drawn carriages and several great snow dragon steeds galloped along the expansive thoroughfare. Within the carriage, Ning Chuan's gaze fell upon the system notifications. Ding. 107-grade spirit-enhancing pills have been amassed, allowing for the synthesis of a 9-grade King Spirit pill, 100,000 synthesis points. Ding. 506-grade spirit-concealing pills have been gathered, enabling the synthesis of 5 8-grade Spirit God pills, 50,000 synthesis points. Ding. 10 8-grade sword techniques have been collected, permitting the synthesis of a 9-grade Lingxi sword technique, 50,000 synthesis points. Ding. The count of spiritual swords has reached 1,381, allowing for the synthesis of a quasi-saint weapon, the Longyuan sword. Would you like to proceed with the synthesis? 200,000 synthesis points. Chapter 21. Rising again, gazing at the notifications displayed by the system, Ning Chuan's smile widened, his excitement bubbling to the surface. Quasi-saint weapons, 9-grade pills. After this synthesis, I shall truly experience a transformation. The great Li dynasty, once an unattainable behemoth in my eyes, now stood before me within reach. Ning Chuan whispered softly, his gaze ablaze with determination. At this moment, he felt empowered to stand tall. System, initiate synthesis, he commanded without hesitation. Ding. Congratulations to the host for consuming 200,000 synthesis points and 1,381 spirit swords, resulting in the creation of the quasi-holy weapon, the Longyuan sword. Ding. Congratulations to the host for consuming 100,000 synthesis points and 107 grade spirit enhancement pills, resulting in the creation of 1 9-grade royal spirit pill. Ding. Congratulations to the host for consuming 50,000 synthesis points and 10 8-grade sword techniques, resulting in the creation of the Lingxi sword technique, 9-grade. Ding. Congratulations to the host for consuming 50,000 synthesis points and 506-grade spirit gathering pills, resulting in the creation of 5 8-grade spirit god pills. A series of prompts resonated in Ning Chuan's mind, prompting him to glance at the system space. He was astonished to find that the synthesized items had been allocated to the system space, ready for retrieval at any moment. He had truly risen. He could feel it. As he beheld the items within the system space, a radiant smile broke across his face. He promptly distributed 3 spirit god pills to the 3 individuals outside, Dian Wei, Guan Yu, and Shimin Chui Shui. The 8-grade spirit god pills would prove immensely beneficial to them, with their formidable combat prowess. Should they elevate their cultivation to the high-tier Earth Immortal, surpassing the 7 stars Earth Immortal, none in the Great Li dynasty, save for the ancient ancestor of the royal family, could stand against them. He would become truly fearless. Although the Lingxi sword technique was a 9-grade technique, it was ill-suited for Shimin Chui Shui, who practiced the ruthless sword path. Thus, this Lingxi sword technique was reserved for the Ning family and the sword orchid beside him. He himself possessed the holy level sword technique, the Shattered Star sword technique, which he could cultivate. For me, that 9-grade royal spirit pill held the most promise. I wonder what realm this pill, capable of enhancing the cultivation of royal-level experts, will elevate me to. Ning Chuan gazed at the royal spirit pill in his hand and murmured softly before promptly swallowing it. Boom. A torrent of medicinal power, exponentially greater than that of the 8-grade spirit god pill, erupted within Ning Chuan's abdomen, converging through his limbs and bones. The sheer magnitude of the medicinal force was akin to the relentless flow of the Yellow River. Ning Chuan felt as though his body might burst from the overwhelming potency. Fortunately, the celestial bone immediately activated its frenzied refining mode. The vast medicinal energy surged into the celestial bone, which refined it into pure spiritual power within Ning Chuan's being. Ning Chuan's aura of cultivation began to soar. Within mere breaths, he broke through to the 2-star Earth origin realm. Minutes later, he ascended to the 3-star Earth origin realm. And after another hour, he experienced yet another breakthrough. Thus, Ning Chuan immersed himself in the euphoria of his advancement. Beside him, the sword orchid sensed the terrifying aura being released and opened her beautiful eyes. In the next moment, an expression of boundless astonishment appeared on Jin Lan's exquisite face. It is rumored that among the heavens and earth, there exist unparalleled prodigies, whose cultivation is as effortless as the act of eating or drinking. The master before her must truly be one of those terrifyingly extraordinary talents. This is my opportunity, by remaining by her side. It is only a matter of time before the Grand Elder of the Jade Maiden Sword Sect falls beneath my blade. While Jin Lan felt elation, a glint of fierce determination flickered in her eyes. Today, she had witnessed the downfall of the second and third elders of the Jade Maiden Sword Sect, intensifying her murderous intent towards the Grand Elder. The carriage, led by the Snow Dragon steed, surged forward at a frantic pace, heading towards the southern border. Meanwhile, in the Dali dynasty, the four major sword sects located in the Tianjin prefecture were in turmoil. The elders dispatched to seize the thousands of treasured swords had all perished. Moreover, it was reported by the true disciples within the sect that it was the work of the Ning family, especially among the many female disciples of the Jade Maiden Sword sect. There was a strong consensus that Ning Chuan was responsible for the theft of the thousands of treasured swords and the deaths of their elders. Within the Grand Hall of the Jade Maiden Sword sect, the sect leader, the Grand Elder, and several other earthly immortals were gathered. Each face bore an expression of profound shock. The Ning family, had they not already been stripped of their powers? Particularly that Ning Chuan. He had even comprehended the sword intent, attracting thousands of swords from the sword tomb to follow him. How could this be possible? A look of disbelief flickered in the beautiful eyes of the sect leader. It was undeniable. Many disciples had recognized that the young man was indeed Ning Chuan. Initially hesitant to affirm it, upon reflection, everyone became certain that he was the once-renowned prodigy of Dali, Ning Chuan. They had been exiled to the southern border by the Empress and had passed through this place. The ones who killed the two Grand Elders of the Jade Maiden Sword sect must be the protectors of the Ning family. The Grand Elder, with great respect, spoke up, her face still marked by astonishment. She had heard that elders from other sword sects had also perished. Out of 8 earthly immortals, 2 6-star beings had fallen. This Clea, the sect leader, harbored suspicions that the Ning family possessed 1 or 2 7-star Earth Immortals, or perhaps even 8 Earth Immortals, which exceeded the capabilities of our Yu sword sect. However, the leader vowed not to let the Ning family off easily. Upon finishing these words, the sect leader vanished from the spot, transforming into a beam of sword light, heading towards the capital of the Dali Empire. Such matters could not be conveyed through letters. They required a face-to-face discussion with Liu Ruyan. After all, Liu Ruyan's mother was also her closest friend. She could not bear to witness Liu Ruyan's troubles stemming from her compassion. Chapter 22. The initial formation of an invincible heart. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. The members of the Ning family were merely 3 or 4 days away from the southern wilderness, with just over 100,000 miles remaining. The carriage continued to gallop forward, while the 3 Earth Immortal martial artists leading the way had made progress in their cultivation over these 3 days. Having refined an 8th-grade spirit pill, Dian Wei broke through to the 5-star Earth Immortal realm, while Guan Yu reached the 7-star Earth Immortal realm. Shimen Shui attained the 4-star Earth Immortal realm. The combat prowess of the 3 surged once more. Suddenly, a terrifying aura enveloped the entire caravan. Ning Tianhe, Ning Lingxue, and the other members of the Ning family widened their eyes, their faces displaying a look of astonishment. They were all too familiar with this aura, having felt it erupt countless times over the past 3 days. Clearly, Ning Chuan had experienced another breakthrough. Brother? Has the Supreme Bone returned? Ning Lingshue's exquisite face bore a wry smile. I have just broken through to the Qi refining realm, and you have already ascended to the Tian Yuan realm? In the first carriage, Jin Lan gazed at Ning Chuan beside her, her beautiful eyes wide with disbelief. She recalled that 3 or 4 days ago, Ning Chuan was merely at the 1-star Earth Origin realm. Now, he had already broken through to the Tian Yuan realm? This was simply unbelievable. Having surpassed her own peak Earth Origin cultivation. Tian Yuan realm. You've only just broken through to the Tian Yuan realm? Ning Chuan opened his eyes, a bitter smile emerging on his face. He had never anticipated that a 9th-grade royal spirit pill, particularly one with 9 patterns, could possess such immense potency, allowing him to break through to the 1-star Tian Yuan realm. Although his 1-star Tian Yuan realm was indeed formidable, likely surpassing the 3 martial generals outside, his initial goal had been to ascend directly to the Earth Immortal realm. Of course, there were reasons for not achieving that breakthrough. He identified 2 primary factors. The first was that the cultivation technique he practiced was exceedingly advanced, requiring an expenditure of spiritual energy 100-fold or 1,000-fold that of appear at each breakthrough. The second, and more significant reason, was that he discovered his celestial bone was secretly absorbing energy. The efficacy of this 9th-grade royal spirit pill was absorbed at least 90% by the celestial bone. He had refined only about 10% of it. However, he discovered something that excited him even more. The celestial bone in his right arm, which had been covered in a myriad of fine cracks, showed signs of improvement after absorbing a significant amount of medicinal effects. The cracks had, astonishingly, diminished. He speculated that the medicinal properties had been absorbed by the celestial bone to mend the fissures. Should he completely restore the cracks in the celestial bone in the future, it would undoubtedly confer tremendous benefits upon him. With this thought, Ning Chuan felt less despondent. For the sake of the future, he resolved to acquire more elixirs for absorption. He gazed at his right arm, murmuring to himself, and then set the matter aside. Next, it was time to practice the Shattering Star Sword technique. If he could master the Saint-level Shattering Star Sword technique, his combat prowess would surge once more. The bitter smile faded from Ning Chuan's face, replaced by a radiant grin. He had truly risen, free from any worries. Regardless of the schemes that Liu Ruyan might conjure in the future, he remained unperturbed. Jin Lan. This is a 9th grade sword technique, quite suitable for your cultivation, along with an 8th grade spirit god pill. These will greatly aid your cultivation. Take them and use them to enhance your strength. Ning Chuan temporarily set aside his thoughts and turned his gaze to Jin Lan. He casually retrieved the Lingxi sword technique from the system space and handed it to Jin Lan, along with a spirit god pill. With her sword spirit physique, Jin Lan's future accomplishments would be remarkable. With proper guidance, she would soon become a formidable general under his command. 9th grade sword technique? 8th grade spirit god pill? Jin Lan gasped, her delicate face alight with astonishment, struggling to believe her ears. A 9th grade sword technique was likely unprecedented in the entire Dali dynasty. Her master had so effortlessly bestowed it upon her, along with a 9-pattern spirit god pill. Could such treasures truly be possessed by a down-and-out scion of the Ning family? There would be plenty more like this in the future. There was no need for astonishment. Noticing Jin Lan's shock, Ning Chuan chuckled softly. Take it. After a moment of hesitation, Jin Lan gritted her teeth and accepted the elixir and the sword technique. With a thud, she knelt before Ning Chuan once more. Master, henceforth, whether traversing mountains of blades or seas of fire, Jin Lan will not flinch. Her voice trembled as she expressed her gratitude. She understood that either of these items would incite a bloodbath in the Dali dynasty, and for her, they were invaluable treasures. This was the only way she could repay her master. Ha ha ha, you little girl, so quick to kneel. Get up and focus on your cultivation. Once we enter the southern wilderness, I will need your assistance. Ning Chuan laughed heartily, helping Jin Lan to her feet. These treasures were of utmost importance to Jin Lan. While for him, they would be plentiful in the future. Subsequently, Jin Lan consumed a portion of the spirit god pill and commenced her cultivation. The potency of the pill was overwhelmingly vast, and she feared her inability to endure it, thus opting for this method of usage. Ning Chuan diverted his gaze from Jin Lan to the exterior of the carriage. They were still a considerable distance of over 100,000 miles from the southern wilderness. Liu Ruyan had been conspicuously silent these past few days. She must be plotting something in the southern wilderness. However, he was no longer the same person as before. He was now a force to be reckoned with, capable of overcoming any divine or demonic obstacles in his path. Just as Ning Chuan was lost in thought, a system notification chimed once more. Ding. The host's invincible spirit has begun to take form. Main quest activated. Establish a faction of your own and possess your own territory. Upon completion, a reward of 100,000 great snow dragon riders will be granted. Establish my own faction? And furthermore, a reward of 100,000 great snow dragon riders? Is this the prelude to my ascension as a sovereign? Upon hearing the system notification, Ning Chuan's eyes widened, and a peculiar smile graced his lips. The task set forth by the system aligned perfectly with his aspirations. His journey to the southern wilderness was not merely to survive and develop. He intended to reign supreme there, establishing a power capable of rivaling, or even surpassing, the Great Li dynasty. In the imperial palace of the Great Li dynasty, Liu Ruyan gazed at the departing leader of the Jade Maiden Sword sect, a chilling aura emanating from her exquisite visage. I have been too lenient, she mused. However, Ning Chuan, your fate is already sealed. Enjoy your freedom for a few more days. When you descend into the underworld, do not blame me for failing to appreciate your supreme bone. Chapter 23. Master of 10,000 Pests. Lin Wanxia. Moments ago, the leader of the Jade Maiden Sword sect had informed her of the news concerning the Ning family, particularly about Ning Chuan, whose cultivation had begun to gradually recover, and he had even comprehended the essence of sword intent. She had to exercise caution and not be overly merciful. Otherwise, Ning Chuan's future growth would undoubtedly pose a significant threat. Liu Ruyan was initially taken aback by this information. She had personally extracted Ning Chuan's supreme bone and crippled his cultivation, severing his meridians, rendering recovery seemingly impossible. Only the exceedingly rare muscle rejuvenation pill could restore him. However, she soon realized that Ning Chuan had likely been cautious all along, leaving himself a contingency. Otherwise, he would not have had the protection of a 7-star Earth Immortal or an 8-star Earth Immortal. Nevertheless, with the might of the 10,000 Pests sect. She believed they could eliminate Ning Chuan. The 10,000 Pests sect boasted more than one 8-star Earth Immortal, and their control over various peculiar pests made them formidable and hard to guard against. Even an 8-star Earth Immortal would find it challenging to escape the grasp of the 10,000 Pests sect. Liu Ruyan murmured to herself once more, then suddenly recalled something and promptly sent a letter to Wei Wuyo, urging him to communicate with the master of the 10,000 Pests sect to exert their utmost efforts. In due time, the court would not forget to reward them. Having completed these tasks, Liu Ruyan once again immersed herself in her cultivation. Just yesterday, she achieved a breakthrough, reaching the level of 7-star Earth Immortal, merely 2 steps away from activating the Phoenix Blood Royal body. An eager anticipation filled her as she longed to witness the transformation that awaited her upon fully awakening this formidable power. In a secluded chamber of the palace, Liu Qingxue sat in meditation, her eyes shut. Suddenly, an overwhelming chill surged into her being. Liu Qingxue's beautiful eyes widened in shock, and an expression of profound agony emerged upon her exquisite visage. Time seemed to stretch indefinitely as the relentless cold gradually receded from within her. Following this, a warm current coursed through her body, softening her previously rigid form. In the next instant, an innate aura emanated from Liu Qingxue. What is happening? Liu Qingxue gasped in disbelief, her eyes wide open as she whispered softly. Soon after, an overwhelming fatigue enveloped her mind, and she succumbed to a deep slumber. The vast expanse of the southern wilderness is nearly equivalent to 1/5 of the entire territory of the Great Li dynasty, spanning approximately 100,000 miles. Though expansive, its extreme barrenness causes cultivators of the Great Li dynasty to shun this region. Additionally, a significant reason lies in the fact that the southern wilderness borders the Xiling mountain range, a forbidden zone for the practitioners of the Great Li dynasty. Within the Xiling mountains dwell countless terrifying beasts and various strange beings. Should any human dare to venture deep into those lands, even a 9-star Earth Immortal could meet their demise. The gravest concern is the legend of a powerful being from the realm of kings, who sought treasures within the Xiling mountains but entered and was never seen again. Given these dangers, cultivators of the Great Li dynasty are understandably reluctant to venture into the southern wilderness. The threat of a formidable beast emerging from the Xiling mountains could spell disaster for their lives. Moreover, the southern wilderness is genuinely desolate. While the Xiling mountains may harbor numerous treasures, they hold no relevance to the southern wilderness. If one cannot obtain them, what value do they hold? Despite the southern wilderness's barrenness, forces still maintain their presence here, such as the esteemed Yuangu sect. In this vast expanse of 100,000 miles, the name of the Yuangu sect commands reverence and fear from all factions. To disregard their power could lead to dire consequences. Nestled atop a mountain just 10,000 miles from the outer reaches of the Xiling mountains lies the Yuangu sect, which instills dread throughout the southern wilderness. In the main hall of the Yuangu sect, the sect leader and numerous Earth Immortal elders gathered, their faces etched with a ruthless and sinister expression that left onlookers trembling with fear. The Ning family? Ning Chuan? The Empress is indeed ruthless. Though the Ning family has been exiled to the southern wilderness, she remains unsatisfied, insisting that the sect leader eliminate them entirely. Such venomous intent surpasses even the poisons I concoct. My Wandu Gu is not nearly as malevolent. The leader of the 10,000 Gu sect, Lin Wanxia, bore a faint smile on his face as he spoke slowly. Not long ago, he had received a message from Wei Wui, instructing them to annihilate the entire Ning family in the southern wilderness, leaving not a single soul behind. It was also mentioned that if this task were successfully executed, the royal family would bestow upon the 10,000 Gu sect a high-grade spiritual weapon known as the Golden Gu Jar. Although he held a deep disdain for the Empress and her dualistic approach to governance, the Golden Gu Jar was a treasure he had yearned for over several decades. This exquisite artifact, a high-grade spiritual weapon, could nurture Gu insects, enhancing their levels. It was an invaluable asset for the 10,000 Gu sect, and he was undeniably tempted. Thus, he consented to the mission, to undertake a minor task of eliminating a few incapacitated individuals in exchange for the Golden Gu Jar was undoubtedly a worthwhile endeavor. At most, they would face an 8-star terrestrial immortal guardian, which posed no significant challenge for the 10,000 Gu sect. Although the sect was established in the impoverished land of the southern wilderness, it differed from other sections. Their primary mode of attack was through Gu, and leading numerous elders to eliminate an 8-star terrestrial immortal would be a trivial task. Everything is arranged, right? Once the Ning family steps into the southern wilderness, report back to me immediately. At that time, this sect leader shall relish the exhilaration of crushing the once mighty Ning family. One of the 3 ancient families of the Dali dynasty, Lin Wanxia surveyed the 7 or 8 terrestrial immortal elders below him and spoke slowly. Yes, the The sect leader has made all the arrangements. As soon as the Ning family enters the southern wilderness, we will ensure to inform you at the earliest opportunity. A middle-aged man, as slender as a monkey, rasped in response. Very well. Return and prepare. Once there is news, depart without delay. Lin Wanxie waved his hand dismissively. Yet his mind was filled with thoughts of the golden goo jar. Time passed swiftly, and the Ning family's convoy had traveled for 4 more days. They were now less than 1,000 miles from the southern wilderness border, a distance they could cover in no time. Boom. An overwhelming aura of demonic energy emanated from the first carriage, enveloping the entire expanse of heaven and earth. Had Xiaobai broken through? Had it ascended to the 4-star terrestrial immortal realm? Ning Chuan awoke from his cultivation within the carriage, gazing at the white, thousand-eyed snow ant, no larger than a fist. With a pair of transparent wings, the ant radiated a rich demonic energy. Chapter 24. Stepping into the southern wilderness, to his astonishment, the thousand-eyed snow ant had leaped 2 stages in its realm. Ning Chuan gently caressed the floating creature before him, a smile gracing his features. Ever since he had slain those 8 terrestrial immortals, the thousand-eyed snow ant had been in a deep slumber within his demonic pet storage pouch. Its sudden awakening brought Ning Chuan immense joy. The ant affectionately nuzzled Ning Chuan's hand, transmitting a wave of elation to him. All right, let us stay outside for a while. As they ventured into the southern region, troubles may yet arise. Ning Chuan gently patted the little head of the thousand-eyed snow ant, which promptly nestled into a small corner of the carriage. Just as Ning Chuan's gaze shifted from the creature, he sensed an aura of breakthrough beside him. His attention was immediately drawn to Jin Lan, who was now exuding the formidable presence of a 3-star celestial realm cultivator. Indeed, in a mere few days, Jin Lan had ascended from the 9-star earthly realm to the 3-star celestial realm, her aura sharp and fierce, reminiscent of a female sword immortal. What a delightful turn of events. Ning Chuan smiled softly, acknowledging her progress. Jin Lan's talent was extraordinary. Although she had been bestowed with an 8th-rank spirit god pill, it was evident that no one else could have achieved such a rapid breakthrough. Jin Lan slowly opened her eyes, a radiant smile blossoming on her beautiful face. She had indeed broken through once more, and she felt certain that in the not-so-distant future, she would be able to vanquish the Grand Elder with her own hands. Turning her gaze to Ning Chuan, her eyes sparkled with gratitude and excitement. Without her master, she would not have attained her current state. She might have perished in the wilderness, burdened by unending hatred. Here, take another 8th-rank spirit god pill. This one should suffice for you to cultivate to the high-tier earthly immortal realm, Ning Chuan said, casually handing her another pill. During the past 4 days, he had not merely been traveling. Upon passing through several large cities, he had utilized 106th-rank spirit nourishing pills to synthesize 10 7th-rank spirit enhancing pills, which he sold entirely to the Misty Rain Tower in those cities. Additionally, he had sold various other items he acquired, earning 3 million medium-grade spirit stones. He exchanged the entirety of this sum for 6th-rank healing pills, 6th-rank spirit nourishing pills, and 6th-rank spirit fortifying pills, with the remaining 40,000 synthesis points. He crafted 4 spirit god pills, bestowing one upon Jin Lan, leaving him with 3. Of course, had he possessed sufficient synthesis points, he could have crafted at least 28th-rank spirit god pills. Thus, he was not lacking in pills, only in synthesis points, as long as he had enough. His subordinates could continuously elevate their cultivation levels, much like the 3 great generals outside. In these 4 days, they too had made breakthroughs. Dian Wei had reached the 6-star earthly immortal stage. Shi Min Shui Shui had attained the 5-star earthly immortal level, while Guan Yu had not yet broken through but had made considerable progress, nearing the 8-star earthly immortal realm. As for himself, although his cultivation had not advanced, he was on the verge of mastering the Shattered Star sword technique. Once he did, his combat prowess would surge once more. Following this small delight, the carriage continued its journey. Moments later, they finally stepped into the land of southern regions. Upon entering, the spiritual energy noticeably thinned, and as far as the eye could see, the land was desolate and devoid of life. As the once esteemed prodigy of the Great Li dynasty, he possessed an intimate understanding of each province and locality within the realm, having aspired to co-govern the world with Liu Ruyan. The southern frontier, though expansive, is sparsely populated compared to other regions of the Great Li dynasty. It comprises merely 10 large cities and 50 to 60 smaller ones, with each major city housing no more than 1 million inhabitants, while the smaller ones contain perhaps a mere 10,000. In total, the southern region accommodates only around 20 to 30 million souls, a stark contrast to the billions found in other parts of the dynasty. Nevertheless, formidable powers reside in the south, notably the 3 great forces, the Wangu sect, the Zhanyao Gate, and the Ryu sect. Among these, The Yuangu sect stands as the most formidable, with the Zhan Yao Gate and Ryu sect trailing behind. Within the cultivation world of the Great Li dynasty, the Yuangu sect is regarded as a first-tier sect, while the Zhan Yao Gate and Ryu sect are classified as second-tier forces. Having finally arrived in the southern region, he envisioned it as the launching pad for his complete resurgence, an entity to rival, if not surpass. The Great Li dynasty would soon emerge. Liu Ruyan, I eagerly anticipate the expression on your face when that time comes. Ning Chuan gazed upon the desolate expanse, a flicker of anticipation igniting within his heart. Their immediate objective was a city at the center of the southern region, known as Nanshao City. He intended to start anew, reclaiming all that he had once possessed. News arrived. Members of the Ning family had already entered the southern territory. Huh, have they come so swiftly? He exclaimed. Elders, accompany me to meet these Ning family members. The Ning family, once one of the three great ancient clans, had their fortunes seized by the Empress, yet they undoubtedly held uncommon treasures, such as 8th-grade martial techniques, or perhaps 8th-grade cultivation methods. Lin Wanxie, upon hearing this news, sprang to his feet, a radiant smile illuminating his face. Making the best use of resources is an essential skill to master in this barren southern land. Indeed, below, the 6 elders of the land deity realm had long been prepared. Let us depart. With a commanding shout, 7 figures transformed into streaks of light, soaring towards the north. The southern expanse spans 100,000 miles. As the two sides converged, bolstered by their rapid flight capabilities, they would meet within 3 to 4 hours. The 7 land deity realm practitioners flew swiftly across the sky, drawing the attention of numerous cultivators in the southern region. That is, the aura of the Yuangu sect's experts. The simultaneous mobilization of 7 land deity realm cultivators. What monumental event is about to unfold? Who could possibly warrant the mobilization of such formidable forces? Indeed, these were 7 land deity realm practitioners. None below 4 stars. The might of the Yuangu sect is truly terrifying. Leaders of various factions gazed upon the figures that vanished into the horizon, murmuring in awe. Could it be that the southern region is on the cusp of a significant event? Recently, the southern lands have been anything but ordinary. Some cultivators harbor an unusual premonition within their hearts. During this period, a multitude of cultivators inexplicably vanish from various cities in the southern wilderness, instilling a sense of dread among the practitioners in the region. The recent mobilization of numerous formidable beings by the Yuangu sect serves as an ominous harbinger of significant events to unfold in the southern wilderness. Chapter 25. Signing the sword in tent stone. Carving. The mobilization of so many earth deities by the Yuangu sect has left the cultivators in the southern wilderness with an unsettling sense that something momentous is imminent. However, the nature of these events remains shrouded in mystery, compounded by the inexplicable disappearances of fellow practitioners, further heightening their anxiety. Yet, they find themselves powerless in the face of such uncertainty. Meanwhile, the Ning family's convoy races across the vast expanse of the southern wilderness at an astonishing speed. The cultivators they encounter are left in awe, astonished by the remarkable swiftness of the warhorses, surely not ordinary beasts. Those capable of harnessing such steeds are undoubtedly extraordinary individuals. Previously, they had heard tales of the southern wilderness being exceedingly barren, and it appears those tales hold true. Ning Chuan gazes upon the desolate landscape outside, murmuring softly to himself. Nevertheless, he remains largely indifferent. The infertility of the land holds no significance for him. With the system at his disposal, he can effortlessly amass immense wealth, which he intends to utilize to cultivate his influence. It won't be long before the Ning family rises once more. Having spent over an hour in this southern wilderness without witnessing any movement from Liu Ruyan, he wonders if she has abandoned her intentions against the Ning family. A flicker of confusion crosses Ning Chuan's face. Soon enough, he dismisses the chaotic thoughts swirling in his mind and immerses himself in the study of the Shattered Star Sword art. Truly, the Shattered Star Sword art is formidable. Even with the seed of sword intent, mastering it proves to be exceedingly challenging. Days have passed without making any substantial progress. Had he been practicing any other 8th-tier sword arts, he would likely have reached a minor consummation by now. However, Ning Chuan does not allow himself to succumb to impatience. For the path of cultivation cannot be rushed. Many things require a gradual approach. Just as Ning Chuan closes his eyes, a notification suddenly resonates in his mind. Ding. Host detected to have arrived in the southern wilderness, triggering sign-in. Would you like to sign in? Huh. Another opportunity to sign in? A look of delight spreads across Ning Chuan's face as he promptly responds, sign in. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in at the southern wilderness and obtaining a sword intent stone carving. The sword intent stone carving depicts 10 distinct sword intents. The host may enhance their sword intent level and gain profound insights into the sword path through observation of the stone carving. Gasp. Such a treasure exists? Is this not a timely boon? Ning Chuan inhales sharply, unable to conceal his joy, just as he found the practice of the Shattered Star sword art somewhat daunting. The system rewards him with a sword intent stone carving, intricately inscribed with 10 sword intents for him to comprehend. If he were to cultivate the sword intent to a minor consummation or even a grand consummation, in contemplating the Shattered Star sword technique, one realizes how remarkably straightforward the process becomes. It is essential to recognize that other sword cultivators attain a profound mastery of their sword techniques through rigorous personal training, perhaps reaching a moment of enlightenment regarding the essence of the sword. However, he has approached it in reverse, first grasping the sword's essence before delving into the technique itself, thus ensuring a remarkable efficiency in his endeavors. With this thought in mind, Ning Chuan cast his gaze upon the sword essence stone tablet within the system's space, preparing to extract it and discern its true purpose. Suddenly, a howling sound from afar reached his ears, igniting his interest. 7 cultivators at the earthly immortal level were making their way directly towards his family's residence. Liu Ruyan, it seems I have underestimated you. Rising to his feet, a subtle smile graced Ning Chuan's face. He stepped out of the carriage, directing his gaze toward the distant void. At the horizon, beams of light raced toward their location. And soon enough, the figures of the approaching individuals became discernible. Each one radiated a sinister aura, unmistakably exuding the essence of earthly immortals. The 3 martial generals, upon witnessing this, halted their journey, releasing their own earthly immortal energies, and regarded the newcomers with detached indifference. They needed no conjecture, for it was clear that these individuals had come with intentions to assassinate their master. Yet, with their presence, no one could harm him. State your names, who dares approach? The voice of Dian Wei boomed, reverberating through the air, as the 6-star earthly immortal pressure erupted in a thunderous display, his gaze fixed fiercely upon the intruders. Haha, I had thought you possessed an 8-star earthly immortal guardian. It appears I have overestimated your Ning family, came the mocking response. Nonetheless, with 1 5-star, 1 6-star, and 1 7-star earthly immortal among you, had I not come today, your family might have solidified its position in the southern frontier and flourished quietly. Alas, the Empress has offered me too much for your heads, and thus I have arrived. The 7 figures loomed in the void, looking down upon Ning Chuan and the 3 martial generals. A faint smile graced the lips of the leader, the sect master of the Yuanba sect. The absence of an 8-star earthly immortal made this task even simpler than anticipated. Lin Wanxia was in high spirits at that moment. Wasn't the once great prodigy of the Great Li dynasty rendered powerless after the Empress extracted his supreme bone? Has he now regained a star in the celestial origin realm? Lin Wanxia's gaze shifted from the 3 earthly immortal guardians to Ning Chuan, an expression of surprise dawning upon his face. The tale of the Empress extracting the supreme bone and Ning Chuan's subsequent disgrace due to his indiscretions with her sister, Liu Qingxue, was known throughout the Great Li dynasty. Even in this distant southern frontier, whispers of the event had reached their ears. Surely, it could not be a falsehood. Could it be that this young man before him has encountered some fortuitous circumstance, allowing him to restore his cultivation? Upon contemplation, Lin Wanxia felt a surge of fervor. It is known that prodigies like Ning Chuan are favored by the heavens. He must have unearthed the supreme bone and acquired new opportunities. Should he seize Ning Chuan's fortune, he might ascend to the rank of a 9-star Earth Immortal. If I am not mistaken, you are the cultivators of the Yuanba sect, aren't you? You are Lin Wanxia, the leader of the Yuanba sect? Upon hearing Lin Wanxia's words, a glint of coldness flickered in Ning Chuan's eyes, and he fixed his gaze upon Lin Wanxia, calmly stating, Lin Wanxia, leader of the Yuanba sect, one of the most formidable beings in the Great Li cultivation realm, renowned for nurturing and utilizing goo worms, leaving a notorious reputation in the Great Li dynasty. It stands on par with the 4 great sword sects, all being first-rate powers. Initially, he had contemplated that when he established his own force, he would eventually contend with the Yuanba sect. However, he never anticipated that the confrontation would come so swiftly. Ha ha ha, the world's foremost prodigy recognizes my name. I am truly fortunate in this life. Yet, there is no way to establish rapport. Only by annihilating your Ning family can I obtain what I desire. Upon hearing this, Lin Wanxia chuckled in surprise, shaking his head as he feigned regret. Ha ha ha, indeed, you are rather fortunate. I was initially pondering a reason to eliminate your Yuanba sect, but it seems that is no longer necessary. Ning Chuan suddenly erupted in laughter, his spiritual energy surging as he ascended into the void, standing against the 7 Earth Immortal Realm cultivators. Simultaneously, Dian Wei, Guan Yu, and Shimin Shui also soared, positioning themselves beside Ning Chuan, their eyes coldly fixed on the 7 Earth Immortal Realm experts, awaiting Ning Chuan's command to commence the slaughter. Eliminate my Yuanba sect? You claim you will eradicate my Wangu sect? Have you been rendered foolish after unearthing the Supreme Bone? Perhaps during the peak of the Ning family's power. That might have been achievable, but now, with your frail and decrepit group, you still aspire to eliminate my Wangu sect? This is the most ludicrous jest I have heard this year, Lin Wanxia retorted with a smirk, initially taken aback, then filled with derision. He regarded Ning Chuan as merely a stubborn duck, clinging to delusions in the face of imminent demise. However, Ning Chuan indeed surprised him. A mere one-star Tian Yuan realm cultivator could fly with such ease, a feat that 99% of Tian Yuan realm cultivators could not accomplish. Flight is the hallmark of an Earth Immortal realm expert. To fly without reaching the Earth Immortal realm signifies the mastery of flight techniques, which have stringent requirements. Ning Chuan's ability to achieve this surpassed his own prowess during his time in the Tian Yuan realm by countless magnitudes. A joke? Everyone mocked me for lacking the Supreme Bone. Today, I shall demonstrate just how formidable I am, even without it. With a resounding roar, the Long Yuan sword materialized in Ning Chuan's grasp, its blade radiating an endless, resplendent light, more dazzling than the sun in the celestial dome. At that very moment, an intense sword intent surged forth, seemingly capable of slicing through the very fabric of the void, ascending to the heavens. Stepping forward, Ning Chuan resembled a solitary sword immortal, advancing toward the 7 continental deities. The 3 generals need not intervene. Today, I shall commemorate my former self with the blood of the many land deities of the 10,000 Gu sect. Ning Chuan's voice was chillingly indifferent as he positioned himself directly above the powerful beings of the 7 continents. Xian Zhong Ling Jian, break the army. With a low exclamation, an overwhelmingly heavy sword momentum exploded from the Long Yuan sword in Ning Chuan's hand. A deafening sound reverberated as the 9-foot sword aura surged toward the leading Lin Wanxia. Foolish and deluded, Lin Wanxia, though slightly startled, firmly believed that no matter how formidable a 1-star Tian Yuan realm cultivator might be, he could never surpass his might. He disdainfully chose not to employ his life Gu against a Tian Yuan realm practitioner, merely raising his long knife to unleash a blade of spiritual energy in an attempt to counter Ning Chuan's long sword. However, in the next heartbeat, a crisp sound resonated, and an unimaginable force coursed through Lin Wanxia's body. His eyes widened in horror as he comprehended the impending doom. If that sword aura struck, he would undoubtedly perish. The consciousness of death loomed ominously in his mind. In a frantic instinct, he seized the nearest elder of the 10,000 Gu sect, a 7-star land deity, and thrust him before himself as a shield. With a thunderous crash, the sword aura, imbued with immense power, collided with the elder, producing a dull thud. Instantly, the elder's body was shattered into countless pieces, crimson blood splattering onto everyone in the vicinity, with Lin Wanxia receiving the brunt of it. Gazing down at the remnants of flesh in his hands, Lin Wanxia could no longer contain the surge of power within him, and a mouthful of blood erupted forth, leaving him visibly weakened. He stared at Ning Chuan in terror, exclaiming, How could you? Lin Wanxia could scarcely believe that a mere 1-star Tian Yuan realm cultivator had nearly severed his life with a single sword strike, and he had survived only by sacrificing the life of a 7-star land deity elder. How ironic that he would rather protect his own life by using the life of his sect's practitioner. It seems I was not mistaken. You are no virtuous man. Draped in white, Ning Chuan's gaze fell upon Lin Wanxia. A profound coldness etched across his face. However, there is no need for haste. You all shall perish. Let your blood serve as a tribute to my former self. As Ning Chuan's voice fell, he wielded the Long Yuan sword and once again struck towards Lin Wanxia. The sword energy, infused with terrifying power, shattered the air with a thunderous roar. Impossible. I am the master of the Wangu sect. I cannot perish. Faced with this dire situation, Lin Wanxia suppressed his fear and let out a fierce howl to the heavens. Iron Bone Gu, myriad poison Gu, reveal yourselves. With a swift motion, 2 fist-sized Gu worms materialized in the void. The Iron Bone Gu immediately entered Lin Wanxia's body, enveloping him in a layer of black metallic scales, giving him the appearance of a massive iron lump. The myriad poison Gu, moving with astonishing speed, reached Ning Chuan in the blink of an eye, bearing its razor-sharp teeth, ready to bite. Unfazed, Ning Chuan clapped his storage pouch, summoning the 4-star Earth Immortal, the 1,000-eyed snow ant, which promptly obstructed the path of the myriad poison Gu. Nothing can withstand my myriad poison Gu, Lin Wanxia exclaimed nervously, believing that drawing even a single drop of blood from Ning Chuan would allow the myriad poison Gu to inject its myriad toxins into him. At that moment, even the King of Hell would be powerless to retrieve him. The creature resembling a white spirit ant, despite being only a 4-star Earth Immortal, could not possibly hinder his 8-star Earth Immortal myriad poison Gu. However, Just as Lin Wanxia thought everything was under control, his eyes widened in horror. The thousand-eyed snow ant opened its 6 wide eyes, unleashing 6 beams of white light that enveloped the myriad poison goo. No matter how it struggled, the myriad poison goo was ensnared within the radiant glow. The thousand-eyed snow ant opened its mouth wide and swallowed it whole. The connection between Lin Wanxia and the myriad poison goo was severed entirely. With a spurt of black blood, Lin Wanxia's vitality waned by a third. The myriad poison goo was his life goo. Its demise would inevitably result in a backlash upon him. Desperate to muster his strength, Lin Wanxia attempted to flee. But the Long Yuan sword was already upon him. With a swift motion, it cleaved through Lin Wanxia's back, bisecting him entirely. Crimson blood rained down from the heavens as both halves of his body fell to the ground, accompanied by the remains of the now-halved myriad poison goo. The 8-star Earth Immortal and the Iron Bone goo, a 6-star Earth Immortal, had both perished. At this moment, the remaining 5 cultivators of the Wan Gu sect were rendered speechless by the scene before them. Chapter 27. 600,000 synthesis points. It must be noted that the individual who had just fallen was their sect leader, Lin Wanxia, one of the only 2 8-star Earth Immortal level masters of the Wan Gu sect, renowned for nurturing an 8-star Earth Immortal myriad poison goo. He was considered an invincible presence among cultivators of the same rank. Yet today he was slain by a single sword strike, and by an optis. Is utterly astonishing and profoundly terrifying. The remaining 5 Earth Immortals felt their bodies weaken, turning to flee in desperation. They understood that escape was their only possible means of survival. To remain would surely lead to their demise. If even the leader of the 8-star Earth Immortal, the Wan Gu sect, had perished, how could they hope to withstand such might? Wanna run? Shall I go? Ning Chuan's face broke into a smile at this spectacle. He had never anticipated acquiring such formidable power so swiftly. Merely by instilling fear, he had already driven numerous powerful Earth Immortals into retreat. Naturally, Ning Chuan had no intention of letting them escape. He had never been one to show mercy. Typically, as his adversaries, they would either kill him or he would eliminate them all. Brandishing the Long Yuan sword, Ning Chuan charged at the remaining Earth Immortals. In concert with Xiao Bai, the battle was concluded in mere moments. The numerous Earth Immortals of the Wan Gu sect fell before him, slain on the spot. Master, your power surpasses ours. The 3 martial generals expressed their heartfelt reverence upon witnessing Ning Chuan's return. They had not expected that their master, even in the Tian Yuan realm, could easily slay 8-star Earth Immortals. Such strength truly exceeded their comprehension. They needed to cultivate diligently, lest they be left behind in the wake of their master's overwhelming prowess, a source of ridicule. Meanwhile, Ning Tianhe, Ning Lingxue, and the other members of the Ning family disembarked from their carriage, their hearts stirred by tumultuous waves as they gazed at Ning Chuan. Was this still the same follower who had once trailed behind Liu Ruyan, a mere sycophant? In the blink of an eye, he had progressed from restoring his meridians to effortlessly slaying Earth Immortal experts, all within the span of less than a month. This was simply too monstrous. What are we standing around for? Let us board the carriage. Generals, we shall alter our objective. We will not head to Nanshao City, but instead proceed directly to the Wan Gu sect and obliterate it. Let everyone know that Ning Chuan has arrived. From now on, I shall be the king of the southern wilderness. Ning Chuan addressed Dian Wei, Guan Yu, and Shimin Shui Shui, his tone resolute. Understood, the 3 nodded in agreement, hastily climbing aboard the carriage. Upon hearing the intent to annihilate the Wan Gu sect, Ning Tianhe gasped in astonishment. Could it be that Chuaner possessed the strength to eradicate the Wan Gu sect? The thought was terrifying in its implications. I must hasten my own cultivation. I cannot fall behind my own son, lest I be outmatched even by a warhorse he rides. Though, truth be told, I am already inferior. Ning Tianhe murmured to himself, then immediately immersed himself in his training. Most of the Ning family shared similar sentiments, exerting every effort to cultivate. They were unwilling to remain a burden to Ning Chuan. The carriage resumed its journey southward, for the Wan Gu sect lay in the southern region, and their purpose was clear, to confront the Wan Gu sect. A journey of 70 to 80,000 miles still lay ahead. Upon the carriage, Jin Lan, having experienced this battle, gained a profound understanding of Ning Chuan's formidable capabilities. She was utterly in awe of him. His strength was unparalleled. She resolved to intensify her training, lest she fail to even serve as a personal maid. Countless individuals aspired to be in the service of a master as extraordinary as he. She must seize this opportunity. At this moment, Ning Chuan remained oblivious to Jin Lan's thoughts. He was engrossed in the incessant notifications from the system. Ding! Congratulations, host, for slaying a terrestrial deity, receiving 45,000 synthesis points. Ding! Congratulations, host, for slaying a terrestrial deity, receiving 50,000 synthesis points. Ding! Congratulations, host, for slaying a 10,000 poison goo, receiving 50,000 synthesis points. The continuous stream of system rewards filled Ning Chuan with unparalleled joy. With synthesis points acquired, the future held limitless possibilities. Ding. Congratulations, host. For a total of 600,000 synthesis points this time. 600,000 synthesis points? Upon hearing this reward, Ning Chuan's smile radiated even brighter. This sum represented the most substantial reward he had ever received. He immediately turned his attention to the synthesis interface, noting that he had obtained several storage rings from the terrestrial deities of the 10,000 Gu sect. Although the contents were not as plentiful as he had envisioned, they were still considerable. Among them were over 100,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Thus, his gains extended beyond mere synthesis points. The items within these storage rings were of immense value. Ding. 100 pills of the 7th grade spirit enhancement pill reached the threshold for synthesis into a 9th grade king spirit pill. 100,000 synthesis points. Ding. The quantity of dual-winged cicada goo reached 108,000, allowing synthesis into a 6-star terrestrial deity. Copper-red cicada 1, 300,000 synthesis points. The greater the quantity, the higher the grade of the synthesized goo. The ability to synthesize goo? The dual-winged cicada into copper-red cicada? This was extraordinarily advantageous. Ning Chuan's eyes widened as excitement washed over him while he gazed at the final prompt on the synthesis page. Goo are immensely potent. If he could synthesize a particularly powerful goo for his own use, akin to the ancient relic species, the thousand-eyed snow ant, it would become his staunchest ally. The quantity of dual-winged cicadas had surpassed 100,000, clearly intended as sustenance for the goo. This indicated that within the 10,000 Gu sect, there must be even more dual-winged cicadas. It was conceivable that he could synthesize an exceptionally powerful goo. With this thought, Ning Chuan felt a surge of excitement. However, he decided against synthesizing immediately. He would first obliterate the 10,000 Gu sect before creating the strongest goo, redirecting his gaze to other potential synthesis options. He found that there were not many alternatives available. A few medicinal pills remained. Other items either fell short in quantity or did not meet the synthesis criteria outlined by the system. It is imperative to enhance one's own strength. Ning Chuan smiled faintly, then began the process of synthesis. Chapter 28. The Ancestor of the 10,000 Gu Sect, Beep. Congratulations to the host for consuming 200,000 synthesis points and 200 spirit enhancement pills, resulting in the synthesis of 2 grade 9 royal spirit pills. Beep. Congratulations to the host for consuming 200,000 synthesis points and 2,000 essence spirit pills, resulting in the synthesis of 20 grade 8 spirit god pills. Beep. Congratulations to the host for consuming 2,000 synthesis points, resulting in the synthesis of 20 grade 6 essence spirit pills. The 3 system notifications resonated in succession. Originally possessing 600,000 synthesis points, in the blink of an eye, it dwindled to less than 200,000. These pills were not solely acquired from the 10,000 Gu sect. Rather, they were procured earlier with 3 million mid-grade spirit stones at the Misty Rain Pavilion. The aim was to amass sufficient synthesis points to create a plethora of cultivation resources for the numerous soldiers' training. As for the 2 grade 9 royal spirit pills, Ning Chuan pondered. He wondered how much they could enhance his cultivation and how many cracks in his celestial bones they could mend. He longed to witness the complete restoration of his celestial bones. First, he decided to distribute the pills. Stepping out of the carriage, Ning Chuan tossed 5 spirit god pills, each to Guan Yu, Dian Wei, and Shimin Chui Shui. Cultivate diligently and reach the pinnacle of the 9-star Earth Immortal realm as soon as possible, he encouraged. A flicker of excitement appeared on the faces of the 3 mighty generals. The pills bestowed by their master possessed immense efficacy, significantly benefiting their cultivation. It was precisely these pills that facilitated their rapid advancement. Subsequently, Ning Chuan entrusted the 20 synthesized essence spirit pills to Ning Tianhe. These were not ordinary pills. Each bore intricate pill inscriptions, far superior to those obtained from the Misty Rain Pavilion or from others. They would greatly benefit the cultivation of the Ning family members. However, due to their considerably low cultivation levels, Ning Chuan advised them to consume the pills separately to avoid overwhelming their meridians with the potent effects. Upon receiving the essence spirit pills from Ning Chuan, Ning Tianhe and the others were elated. With these 9 patterned pills, their cultivation would experience an astonishing acceleration. After completing these tasks, Ning Chuan returned to the first carriage, casually retrieved a grade 9 royal spirit pill, and swallowed it, commencing his cultivation. The carriage continued its journey southward. Meanwhile, in the southern region of the South Jiang, chaos erupted within the 10,000 Gu sect. The soul plates of the powerful Earth Immortal experts shattered, including that of their sect leader, Lin Wanxia. This news sent shockwaves through the 10,000 Gu sect. In a gray palace within the sect, An elder sat high upon the throne of the sect leader, facing 3 elders who had recently ascended to the Earth Immortal realm. A profound anger flickered in the elder's murky eyes. What on earth is happening? Where has Lin Wanxia gone, and what has he done? Why has he fallen? The voice of the elder trembled with rage. Lin Wanxia was his only son, the fruit of his old age. Now, having attained the rank of an 8-star Earth Immortal, he had been slain. This drove him into a fury beyond measure. To kill an 8-star Earth Immortal, the assailant must undoubtedly be a 9-star Earth Immortal. Yet even so, he vowed to exact vengeance. His life's work, a goo he had nurtured for 200 years, had also reached the 9-star Earth Immortal realm. Thus, he resolved to find the murderer and feed the remains, body, blood, and bones, of the culprit to his beloved goo, the corpse-eating goo. Reporting to the ancestor, an elder of the Wan Gu sect stammered. The sect master received a request from the Empress to intercept someone from the Ning family. However, we are unaware of what transpired, as they have all perished. The Ning family. Is that the esteemed Ning family of the 3 great ancient clans? Lin Huatian exclaimed in disbelief. How could Wanxia be so reckless as to confront the Ning family? Ning Tianhe, though of similar age to Wanxia, has already reached the pinnacle of 9-star Earth Immortal, and it is rumored he may soon break through to the Half-King realm. How could he possibly have slain someone from the Ning family? Lin Huatian furrowed his brow and instinctively shook his head. If it were indeed Ning Tianhe, even he would have to weigh his options carefully. After all, that individual was hailed as the one most likely to ascend to the Half-King realm within a century, a feat the Liu royal family could not achieve. The royal ancestors had half-kings among them, yet they were all aged, with only a few decades left to live. Ancestor, you are misinformed regarding the Ning family. Their powers have long been rendered ineffective, an elder hastily interjected, recounting the recent events concerning the Ning family. Upon hearing this, Lin Huatian's expression shifted to one of realization. It became clear why Lin Wanxia had sought to eliminate members of the Ning family. Nonetheless, a deep-seated doubt lingered in his heart. How could a family that had been rendered powerless kill his son? This matter required clarification. If the Ning family was indeed responsible for his son's death, then even if Ning Tianhe's powers were restored, he would ensure that the Ning family paid dearly. As a Gu master, he possessed countless methods for killing. If Ning Tianhe was powerful, then he would eliminate everyone else but Ning Tianhe. With this thought, a glint of cold light flickered in Lin Huatian's murky eyes. Investigate the whereabouts of the Ning family. I shall make them understand that for the life of my only son, their lineage shall face extinction. The 3 Earth Immortal elders below bowed respectfully and promptly departed. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. Lin Huatian received word that the Ning family's convoy was steadily approaching from the south, seemingly headed toward the Wan Gu sect. Such audacity! They dared to march directly towards my Wan Gu sect, indicating they possessed the power to annihilate us. Within the great hall, Lin Huatian's brow furrowed deeply, his expression shifting restlessly. In all honesty, the members of the Ning family were making their way directly toward the Wan Gu sect, instilling a sense of trepidation within him. After all, even his son, an 8-star terrestrial immortal, had been slain. No, I cannot flee. On my own territory, even a 9-star terrestrial immortal could potentially fall before me. Yet, there exists a risk. I have traversed the perilous path of life and death countless times over the years. This time, however, I find myself feeling an inexplicable desire to retreat. Oh, how age has made me more fearful of death. Nevertheless, this is also my singular opportunity to vanquish a formidable 9-star terrestrial immortal. Within the confines of the Wan Gu sect, I should be invincible. After taking a deep breath, the patriarch of the Wan Gu sect resolved to remain. For within the sect lay the power of innumerable Gu worms, poised to eliminate the Ning family members. However, news of the Ning family's massacre of the Wan Gu sect's leader and several elders spread like wildfire throughout the southern frontier. All the practitioners in the southern frontier were left speechless in shock. Yet, one piece of news erupted like a powder keg, igniting the entire region. The Ning family was advancing toward the Wan Gu sect, suspected of seeking its annihilation. Chapter 29. The weight of the sword's intent. Hadn't the Ning family's elites been rendered powerless by the Empress? How could they still possess such strength to slay the leader of the Wan Gu sect? Moreover, they were heading straight for the sect. Was it possible that they aspired to usurp the Wan Gu sect's esteemed position in the southern frontier? Such thoughts left many practitioners in disbelief. Yet, they found themselves powerless to intervene. If the Ning family had indeed been rendered incapable, they would have remained indifferent. However, if the Ning family possessed the strength to kill the leader of the Wan Gu sect, then they were indeed capable of challenging the sect. There was even a real possibility of its obliteration. These insignificant figures could only watch from a distance as 2 colossal entities clashed, devoid of any choice in the matter. Nevertheless, The majority of practitioners harbored a desire for a change in the southern frontier, for the Yuangu sect had dominated and oppressed them for far too long. Akin to a colossal vampire draining their lifeblood. In the southern frontier, every faction and family was required to pay 70% of their income as tax to the Yuangu sect, leaving them with a mere 30%. They had grown weary of such a life. Naturally, they yearned for change, yet they believed it was unlikely to occur. For the Yuangu sect still had a terrifying elder. The elder of the Yuangu sect, Lin Huatian. Upon hearing Ning Tianhe's remarks about the Yuangu sect, a look of astonishment crossed Ning Chuan's face. He had indeed never heard of an elder within the Yuangu sect. Indeed, caution was paramount. That individual was the first in our great Li dynasty to practice Gu arts. Now, their cultivation was either that of an 8-star or 9-star terrestrial immortal. And the Gu worms under their control were likely of that caliber as well. The methods of Gu-based assassination are manifold. Thus, on this expedition to eradicate the 10,000 Gu sect, my father may not be of much assistance, but please exercise utmost caution. You are the sole hope of the Ning family, Ning Tianhe explained with great care. Understood, father. You may focus on your cultivation. I am well aware of my responsibilities. Ning Chuan nodded thoughtfully. Subsequently, Ning Tianhe departed. The Ning family was no longer under his dominion. He had no reason to question any of Ning Chuan's decisions. Trusting that Ning Chuan would indeed consider matters judiciously, he merely needed to offer reminders on aspects that Ning Chuan might overlook. Previously, such considerations would have weighed heavily upon him. However, as a 3-star celestial, I am now invincible. A confident smile graced Ning Chuan's face. Indeed, during his journey over these past 2 days, he had refined 2 9th-grade royal spirit pills using celestial bones, successfully elevating his cultivation to the 3-star celestial realm. Moreover, within this brief period, he had comprehended the profound sword intent contained within the stone inscriptions, advancing his understanding of the heavy sword intent from the elementary stage to a minor accomplishment. When employing the mysterious heavy spirit sword technique, even a 9-star Earth Immortal would not stand a chance against him. It is noteworthy that, within the Great Li dynasty, most Earth Immortal practitioners have merely grasped the rudimentary form of sword intent, with only a select few high-ranking Earth Immortals truly comprehending it, and even then, it remains at the introductory level. Ning Chuan, however, has already achieved a minor accomplishment in sword intent, nearly comparable to those sword cultivators who have practiced for a century or two. How could he not be formidable? Of course, he was not the only one to experience breakthroughs during these 2 days. The 3 great generals outside, including Guan Yu, successfully advanced from a 7-star Earth Immortal to an 8-star Earth Immortal, rendering them invincible within the Earth Immortal realm. With such formidable allies, if they fail to obliterate the 10,000 Gu sect, then his efforts in cultivation would be in vain. After a moment of contemplation, Ning Chuan once again immersed himself in the study of the stone inscriptions of sword intent. His gaze fixed upon the inscriptions, he found himself enveloped in an abyssal space, surrounded by various forms of immensely powerful sword intent, swift sword intent, slow sword intent, heavy sword intent, and more. Ning Chuan could directly perceive this sword intent to elevate his own understanding. His primary focus now was the heavy sword intent, as both the Shattered Star sword technique and the mysterious heavy spirit sword technique revolved around the heavy sword. Naturally, should Ning Chuan find the time in the future, he could delve into other sword intents, further enhancing his combat prowess to be even more explosive. Time passed swiftly, and before long, half a day had elapsed. A massive, earthen gray city came into view for the members of the Ning family. In the distance behind this grand, gray city, the undulating peaks of the Purple Ridge Mountains could be faintly discerned. The Purple Ridge Mountains form a vast range that spans across the 10 great dynasties. Although countless treasures of heaven and earth may lie within the mountains, the dangers therein are exceedingly high. Directly behind the gray city stands several mountain peaks. That is the stronghold of the 10,000 Gu sect. My lord, we are about to arrive at the city of 10,000 worms. What shall we do next? Dian Wei inquired respectfully as he observed Ning Chuan stepping out of the carriage. Upon entering the city, Dian Wei, you and Shimen Shui should find a secure location for the Ning family. General Guan Yu and I will infiltrate the 10,000 worms sect. With our combined strength, no matter how formidable their tactics may be, they cannot withstand us. A fierce light gleamed in Ning Chuan's eyes, and his fighting spirit surged. This would mark his 3rd battle since arriving in this world, and he had ascended to the pinnacle of the earthly immortal realm. He believed that soon, whether in this confrontation or the next, it would be time to eradicate the Liu royal family. Indeed, Dian Wei, Guan Yu, and Shimen Shui had no objections. They were entirely devoted to Ning Chuan's command. System, manifest the great snow dragon riders. Ding, congratulations to the host for the successful manifestation. As they were on the brink of entering the city of 10,000 worms, their small number hardly presented any imposing stature. Summoning 100 great snow dragon riders would lend them a semblance of prestige. Yet, the paramount concern remained the protection of the Ning family. As the system's announcement reverberated, the thunderous sound of hooves approached from behind, and soon, 100 soldiers clad in iron armor, wielding long spears and sheathed swords, mounted on their great snow dragon steeds, surged forth. Great snow dragon riders, we pay our respects to our lord. The 100 riders galloped around the carriage, their voices unified. Your task is to safeguard the Ning family. Ensure that no vile individuals approach them. A faint smile graced Ning Chuan's face as he beheld the well-equipped riders. Among the ranks, most of the ordinary soldiers had already attained the 9-star innate realm, with the squad leaders at the earthly origin realm, and the strongest centurion reaching the peak of the 9-star celestial origin. Such cavalry could be deemed elite, rivaling the armies of the Dali dynasty. It is noteworthy that the pinnacle of the 9-star celestial origin equates to a typical elder in the major sections. A further ascent leads to the earthly immortal realm, which is still constrained by the limited number of great snow dragon riders. Once a power is established, the system promises a reward of 100,000 riders. If the centurions are already at the pinnacle of the 9-star celestial origin, one can only imagine the strength of the 1,000 and 10,000 leaders, even the commander. Chapter 30. Entering the city of 10,000 worms. The great formation of 10,000 worms. The Ning family, upon witnessing the sudden emergence of this elite force outside, felt astonished yet no longer overwhelmed by disbelief. Familiarity dulled their initial shock, especially given that the leaders ahead were all formidable beings of the earthly immortal realm. The ranks had swelled significantly, instilling a sense of grandeur. Boom, boom, boom. Before long, they arrived at the gates of the city of 10,000 worms. Atop the city walls, numerous disciples of the 10,000 worms sect, upon spotting the Ning family, wore expressions of grave concern and immediately relayed the news to the sect. This was their duty, to report any sighting of the Ning family without delay. The visitors are indeed from the Ning family. The city of 10,000 gu is no longer open to outsiders. I implore the esteemed members of the Ning family to depart swiftly. A disciple of the 10,000 gu sect, emboldened by desperation, spoke up. He had no desire to utter a word, yet it was the command of the ancestor. Disobeying the ancestor would instantly render him fodder for the life-bound gu of the ancestor. The 10,000 gu sect has sent assassins after me, and now they wish to retreat like turtles? Depart swiftly? Today, unless I obliterate your 10,000 gu sect, I shall not bear the name Ning Chuan. With that, Ning Chuan soared into the air, his expression cold as he emitted a disdainful snort. In the next instant, the Long Yuan sword unleashed a formidable sword energy, stretching several feet long. With a thunderous crash, it struck the enormous city gate. The gate shattered with a resounding clatter, revealing the scene within the city before Ning Chuan's eyes. The streets lay deserted, resembling a ghost town. Yet, within the houses, the cultivators of the city of 10,000 gu hid, 99% of whom were not disciples of the 10,000 gu sect. They merely resided and cultivated within this city. They watched everything unfold through their windows. Those who obstruct me shall perish. Enter the city. With Ning Chuan's command, the sound of galloping hooves surged forth once more toward the city. The many disciples of the 10,000 gu sect atop the city walls felt an overwhelming terror. The sword energy unleashed by the youth was long enough to slay them hundreds of times over. Hastily, they sought to descend from the walls and return to the sect, where the ancestor's presence offered a semblance of safety. However, at that moment, an ethereal figure appeared atop the city walls. Ruthless sword lights flickered, and the echoes of agonized cries reverberated throughout the city of 10,000 gu. The cultivators within the city trembled in fear, daring not to step outside their doors. After several breaths, the cries ceased, and upon the walls lay dozens of wretched corpses, unmistakably belonging to Shi Men Shui Shui, a practitioner of the emotionless sword path. No enemy deserved to live beneath his blade, be they innocent or not. The sound of hooves thundered as Ning Chuan, seated upon his majestic snow dragon steed, coldly surveyed the situation within the city. 100 snow dragon riders and 3 celestial warriors from the 3 continents shielded the Ning family at the center. The aura of the celestial warriors radiated unreservedly, making it abundantly clear that the Ning family was not to be trifled with. They should refrain from harboring any treacherous thoughts. The path ahead remained unimpeded, and none dared to obstruct their progress as they arrived at a grand plaza in the heart of the city. General Dian Wei and Shi Men Shui Shui, you two shall lead the 100 snow dragon riders in safeguarding the members of the Ning family. General Guan Yu and I shall charge toward the 10,000 gu sect. Ning Chuan issued his orders, and he and Guan Yu ascended into the air, soaring toward the mountains behind the city of 10,000 gu. Understood. Dian Wei and Shi Min Shui Shui immediately steeled their resolve, fully aware that they should encounter no issues. However, as a competent subordinate, these actions are imperative. The members of the Ning family, such as Ning Tianhe and Ning Lingxue, observed Ning Chuan's departure with grave expressions, their hearts laden with concern for his safety. Within the grand hall atop the main peak of the Yuangu sect, Lin Huatian resided upon his throne, surrounded by the remaining terrestrial immortals and numerous ordinary elders at the pinnacle of the 9 stars celestial realm. Each face was imbued with unwavering confidence. The hall had been meticulously arranged with the Yuangu formation. Should the Ning family intrude, they would soon experience the torment of the myriad Gu devouring their very essence. Even those at the 9 stars terrestrial immortal level would endure unimaginable suffering. After all, within this formation lay the ancestral life Gu, the corpse-devouring Gu, reaching the 9 stars terrestrial immortal level. Come forth, since your Ning family possesses such arrogance. Let it be your true downfall. A sinister smile crept across Lin Huatian's aged visage as he reclined on his throne. At that moment, a dispassionate voice echoed from outside the hall. Old man, is this a banquet laid out for me? With that, 2 figures sauntered into the hall. One of the youths cast a bemused glance in his direction. The pair were none other than Ning Chuan and Guan Yu, who had flown directly from Yuangu City without encountering any hindrance. Ning Chuan, a 3 stars celestial realm, accompanied by an 8 stars terrestrial immortal guardian. You dare to invade the grand hall of my Yuangu sect? Lin Huatian laughed heartily, his arrogance palpable. Now I understand why that empress sought your supreme bone. For you are indeed exceedingly foolish. His gaze fell upon the duo, and an exuberant smile illuminated his weathered face. He had long assumed they were accompanied by a 9 stars terrestrial immortal. Upon witnessing the reality, he realized there was merely an 8 stars terrestrial immortal guardian. Regardless of how Lin Huatian met his demise, could he withstand the assault of his life Gu? Moreover, with the Yuangu formation and his own prowess as a peak 8 stars terrestrial immortal, their fate was sealed. Foolish? That term had always been reserved for others in his mind. Today, we shall see who is the truly foolish one. A faint smile graced Ning Chuan's lips as he raised his Dragon Abyss sword, unleashing a sword aura imbued with terrifying power towards Lin Huatian. The sheer force emanating from the sword aura shattered the grand hall into countless fragments. What? How is this possible? Lin Huatian gasped in horror upon witnessing the formidable sword aura, but before he could fully comprehend the situation, he bellowed, "Activate the Yuangu formation." As his voice resonated, countless Gu insects, exuding a multitude of bizarre auras, surged towards the two from both the ground and the sky, creating a scene that sent chills down one's spine. Simultaneously, a fist-sized Gu insect, radiating an odor of decay and brutality, charged to intercept Ning Chuan's sword aura, revealing its extraordinarily sharp teeth. It was poised to shatter the sword energy. Yet, in the next moment, the sword energy sliced through the Gu worm, resulting in a resounding explosion as the worm instantly transformed into a pool of foul water, scattering in all directions. Impossible. My corpse-devouring Gu. Lin Huatian's eyes widened in shock, and with a howl, he spat out a mouthful of blood, his vitality immediately waning.